All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience today. Thank you for joining us for the launch of the Global Movement of Hope, the United Hope Challenge, and Stories of Hope. We're so glad you're here today, and it's just an absolute honor to be able to bring this forth to the world and share a little bit more about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and we have an amazing, amazing day planned. We have special guest speakers who will be coming, sharing their stories, a bunch of other things we have planned, and we're just very excited to get started here. I'm going to start off and just share briefly how we got started, how the Global Movement of Hope came about, and what I guess, like, as far as we've all been through such difficult times these past few years with the pandemic, and now is everybody needs hope. So basically, going back, everybody needs hope, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what background you have, how old you are, all of these things, we all need hope. And I had a vision. So this vision came about 6 months ago, in my meditation and prayer practice in the morning, and heard the names, the Global Movement of Hope. And first of all, my name, Nadine, means hope. And there was some resonance I felt with the name itself. I wasn't quite sure why I was hearing the name at the time. But as we all, sometimes things happen to us and we don't necessarily at the time know why they're happening. This was one of those occurrences for me. I went and got the domain and just kind of left it at that. And the visions that I kept seeing was that there was millions at the time of people that were meant to be impacted through this movement, through the sharing of the stories of hope, and the overcoming, the lessons, the blessings that we learn from the things that we go through in life. And I thought about it for a few moments, and I thought back on my life and the things that I had gone through. Going back, I was a geologist. I worked in corporate. We went to sell our second company. I was 28 years old. It was about 15 years ago now, and I couldn't even get out of bed. And that was my first, I guess, rock bottom moment that I went through, and where I felt I had no hope. I got very sick. Doctors couldn't help me. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was down to 90 pounds. And I still remember this moment of laying on my bathroom floor and giving up, having no hope, right? Having no hope that, I was going to get better. Nobody can help me. The people you put your trust in that are supposed to help you, had no answers and couldn't help me move forward in any way. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then I heard, for me, as a voice of God that spoke to me and said, what, these are the exact words that I heard. You're going to put your big girl pants back on, and you're going to, stop playing victim. You're going to start moving forward, and we're going to do this. And you're going to help a lot of people also do the same. And in that moment, I've never felt so much hope in all of my life. And it was in that moment of, the one thing that I needed to do was to get up. And for myself, it was, get up and move forward, do something about it, right? What can we do to start moving forward? It's that first step sometimes that's the most difficult. And the vision that I had of the Global Movement of Hope, there was 3 things that came about. I'm going to share those 3 things with you. And then we're going to move on to our program and have some guest speakers come on and share their stories and a little bit more about where we're going. And like I said, we have an amazing day planned here today. So the first thing that I heard with this global movement was it was an all-inclusive movement. It was for all people, all religions, all backgrounds, all ages. And it was like the Trolls movie. I don't know if you guys have kids or if you watch cartoons and the Trolls movie. The vision of this troll running around saying, "No troll left behind," was the vision I kept saying for this movement. But it was no person would be left out. No person would be left behind in this movement. It was all inclusive for all people, because if you're a person here on earth, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be valued and cherished, and you need to know that you're here for a purpose, and there is a reason why you are here, and there's no coincidence that you are here, at our event listening to this today. And it was everybody would be involved in some way, shape, or form, whether it's sharing your story, whether it's sharing quotes, whether it's creating a video of kindness, which for us is the Unite Hope challenge that we have, with sharing your videos of on TikTok and Instagram and on our Facebook page, which is the Global Movement of Hope. And then just using the hashtag the United Hope Challenge to bring these videos less than a minute. It doesn't have to be something that takes a long time of your day, but we're challenging everybody today. We want this to go viral across the entire world. go viral, sharing goodness, sharing kindness, sharing hope, simply because we all need hope, right? No matter where we're at, we need hope. And it's this leads me to the second vision that I had, and that was about actionable hope. The term actionable hope. Most people that I started talking to and telling about what we were doing had never heard of actionable hope, including myself. And the more I thought about it, it was about, like I said, that moment when I was laying on my bathroom floor when I heard get up, right? That was the action that I needed to take to move forward. And it's something sometimes so small as that, but seems so astronomically huge at the time. And I got up, and so taking actionable hope is something that we're doing with this entire movement, being able to bring people in, sharing their stories, doing something right today, not waiting for the future. Most people think about hope. You have a hope for a better job. You have a hope for making more money. You have money to feed your children. You have a hope for a better relationship. A hope for you can hope for many things in our life, and usually that hope lies outside of ourselves in the future. So this movement is all about how can we redefine the perception of what hope means in our lives and bring it into the now, into the present moment. It's hope now. That's what we're focusing on today, and sharing these stories and moving forward to be able to share as many great things that we can that are going on right now. It's just our world is filled with uncertainty and fear, and all the corruption that's going on. We need this light and this love and this hope in our world more than ever. And I'm going to encourage every one of you that are here today to step into your light, to step into all of who you are, with no regrets, with no fear, because the world needs you. The world needs your light. You are that role model for so many other people right now who are sitting there feeling alone, that nobody understands what they're going through. And when you share your story, when you show up, and you are somebody that is authentic in what you're going through. And I had 4 kids. My first son was born 2 weeks after my first son was born. Another thing that happened to me is my father took his life and committed suicide. And that was another thing with, I was so hopeful of him meeting meeting his grandbaby. And it was the first, grandbaby on both sides. And, that hope was lost in a moment. But in a second, I started thinking, and as the years progressed, it allowed many blessings to come from that. And some of them were, the lives that were saved by the people that I would reach out to in my prayer and meditation, using our intuition, trusting some of the things that come to us, the visions, the insights, the thoughts, the words. Sometimes somebody's name might pop into your mind. I remember the first time, and this was maybe 2 months after my father had left this earth. I had this vision of this person's name I hadn't heard from in 20 years, and I was guided to reach out to them, just reaching out saying, hi, how's it going? I haven't heard from you for a while, would love to connect, just wondering how I can be there for you right now. And that person sent me a message back saying they were just praying for a miracle for somebody to reach out to them because they were feeling alone. And I didn't know this at the time. But 2 years later, they shared with me that they had a handful of pills in their hand, and they were about to commit suicide. And if it wasn't for me reaching out, they would not be here today. And I can tell you folks, like everybody that's here today, it's that moment. And I worked as a geologist for 10 years prior to that. And I didn't feel as much fulfillment in those 10 years working in the geological sector than what I did in that moment, knowing that I saved that person's life. And this is what this is about, right? How can we inspire others? How can we bring hope? How can we save somebody's life or inspire them to want to move forward and take that first action, whatever that might look like? So I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad each and every one of you are here today. And we're gonna have a great day, great event, great, wonderful people from all over the world. We're streaming live globally. We have people, some of our directors, we have advisors of hope that now are a part of the global movement, ambassadors of hope from many nations around the world. We're just absolutely delighted. We have partners with the Canadian Mental Health Association, a bunch of other organizations that have jumped on board wanting to be a part of this. I encourage each and every one of you too, like everybody that's here, we can go, we have a Facebook page. Our official Facebook page is just the Global Movement of Hope. And you guys can just go to the Global Movement of Hope. And I encourage everybody just to share their story, share a hope, quote, share something great that happened to you today, share your videos. We want it to be really interactive and just really creating positivity in the world right now. So I encourage you all to do that. We're going to start out. We actually have a very special guest. We're going to start out with her. And she's a lady, she's a very special person to me. And I just met her. I had the privilege of meeting her just a few months ago. And she shared something with me that touched my heart uh, more than you can know. And I asked her if she would share something with you guys today. And I would like to start off with her sharing something with you. She is somebody that she just has a heart of gold, and I think it's the first time that she's shared this anywhere. So I just would like to welcome Faye Marks up to share some of her poems that she's written. And I'll let her share a little bit more about each one of the poems, but she does have 3 short poems that she's going to read to each and every one of you. And I really want you just to take a moment and listen to her as she shares these poems, and listen to the words, and listen to her heart that speaks through her sharing these poems. Some of the most beautiful words that I've ever witnessed that anybody has written. And I just an honor to have her here today. And Faye, if you're ready, I'm just going to bring you up here. So I'm just going to unmute you here and add you up to the stream. So I just want to welcome you, Faye. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Wonderful. It's so great. I know. Thank you so much for your patience. This is my first time doing this, and I'm so excited to have you here today and to share your poems, and like the story of how you and I met just recently, and how you just really touched my heart in such a big way. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll let you take the stage, and you can feel free to read whichever ones you would like to share first. And if you'd like to share anything about yourself or anything at all, feel free to do that as well. So the stage is all yours. Welcome, Faye.
Well, I'll just give a little bit of background here. I've been having depression for a long time, and this first poem is giving me hope for getting better. And it's called My Mind. And it says, in my mind is a great big storm. There's thunder and lightning, tornadoes form. The wind is blowing the snow around. It's sleeting, it's slippery. I fall to the ground. I can't get up. I'm on my knees. Can someone come and help me, please? All of a sudden, I see a bright light. It's melting the snow. My, what a sight. This bright light feels warm and cheery somehow. It's helping me get up. I'm getting up now. The storms are all gone. No lightning is near. No longer is there anything to fear. What is this light? Where did it come from? It's the hope that I have for better days to come. There will be more rain, that I know, but you need a little rain to see a rainbow. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is called The Cardinal. My husband passed away in May. So this happened a few weeks ago. And it says, I was in the kitchen thinking while hot chocolate I was drinking. I wished for something for me to know. Was he happy? I loved him so. I turned around and what did I see? A bright red cardinal in a tree. I got so emotional and I cried. I've missed him so since he died. This was such a strange thing, but I know it was a good happening. Could it have been a sign that my love is happy and fine? Sorry about
Don't be sorry. It's beautiful.
that.
Absolutely beautiful.
And this last one is just about hope. It's called Hope. No matter what your problem is, no matter where you're from, just always remember this. There is hope for everyone. Hope for a better day. Hope for a better tomorrow. Somehow you will find your way through your pain and sorrow. Along the road, there may be bumps. There may be all sorts of troubles. This doesn't mean you can't jump over the rocks and the rubble. Oh, how glorious it will be when your hope is here, giving you what you need, and you have nothing to fear.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That is just so heartwarming and so touching, Faye. Thank you so much for sharing that with
Anything I
everybody.
can do to help is
I know you've inspired everybody that's here by your words and by your heart to share that. I know that takes courage to share that. And I appreciate you so much. So much. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Yeah. You're a blessing to this world. You truly are.
So are you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And again, it's just amazing. I'm so glad you could be here. And I just wanted to start off our event with your poems because, like I said, you just when you read them to me, and I think the day that you and I had met was the day before that you wrote the Cardinal poem. I think you said you had wrote that the day before you and I had got on a phone call and we're talking. So to me, that was very special that you shared that with me right after, you had written it. And it was something I'll never forget. I will never forget that moment for as long as I live. So thank you for bringing that hope to my life and by sharing that and sharing your heart through your words. It's beautiful.
Thank you for including me.
You're most welcome. All right, my dear. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So we are going to keep on moving here. Okay. So thank you so much, Faye. That is just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I don't know if you guys got a chance just to listen to the words, and we were recording this event. You can go back and listen to it over and over. I just think there's so much wisdom that Faye has shared in those words there. So thanks again, Faye. So I have, I just wanted to get, I think we have Janaid on here. Just looking here. Janaid, are you here? Are you on here? I just wanted to get one of our directors to share a little bit. And Janaid is actually, he's an amazing individual. He's from Pakistan. He's our vice chair of the Global Movement of Hope and has written books on democracy, involved in government. He's just a phenomenal individual, inside and out. Just his heart for humanity is unprecedented. He's one of the most incredible, giving, kind, caring person that I've ever met. And we have the privilege of having him as our vice chair with the Global Movement of Hope. And I would just like to invite him to come up. He's been involved in media and various other expertises around the world for many years now. And yeah, so I'd just like to bring him up. And Janaid, if you can share a little bit about, hang on, I'm just going to bring it up here. Yeah, so hi, Janaid, how's it going?
Hello, I'm fine, thanks. And you, Nadine?
I'm very good, thank you.
Really
Thank you so
nice to see you.
It's nice to see you
Really
as
nice
well.
to see you hosting this event.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here today. I know the time zone is off and late where you are, so I appreciate you taking the time out to come and share your story and your story of hope and a little bit about why you wanted to be involved with this movement and anything else you'd like to share. I'm just open to that, so I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. Today is a historic day as we are going to launch this historic movement. As you told that it is for everyone, for youth, children, men, um, irrespective of religious belief, political affiliation, race, color, and gender. As we are living in a very challenging times, and we all need hope. as you told earlier, that our movement is for everyone. So it's uh, so basically, we are here to find solutions of these pressing challenges that the whole world is and the whole global community is facing. So, uh, when the world is finding solutions, answers of pandemic, record inflation, poverty, violence, large-scale displacement, unrest, conflicts, and mass immigration. So we are launching this movement to sort out or find the solutions of these pressing challenges. And I'm very thankful to you that you started this movement for whole world. So it's a blessing. Uh, um, Today, as you told, that it's a soft launch of our movement. So we are going to build a long-term, effective global solutions for good. Our aim is to basically to empower citizens, empower individuals through actionable hope, and and to build a resilient society, communities for a better and equality-based society through our actionable approach. So uh, we focus on different forms of injustice, inequalities, problems, and challenges across the world to make a significant impact when humanity is experiencing some degree of stress, hopelessness, and depression. These challenges have affected all of us of some degree physically and emotionally, and have dismantled our hopes and shattered our dreams. So our organization and our movement will definitely bring some hope in their life and make this world a better place for the future generation. Through our collective power, we will establish a mass platform, as we believe, and as we are going to, establish of movement based on actionable approach for a global population, which will help inform global community and cultivate the awareness necessary to help prevent an issue from affecting more people and to help respond pressing challenges facing humanity. With our collective power, we will generate awareness that will provide tangible result that will be helping the general population uh, to sort out their problems and find better solutions to their challenges in their lives through actionable hope. So together we will get through these challenging times in history, and we will emerge stronger, as we all believe through uh, these all initiatives, and particularly as you described a new definition of actionable hope. So, while pursuing innovative and effective solutions to all our problems, we will develop different creative ideas and different positive approach. So, we will build our new world on the basis of actionable hope. We will definitely partnering with the in future, and as you also initiated different collaboration with different organization, it will also help us to establish our links to the whole world and the whole community. So it's although it's a big challenge, but with the collectively we will definitely you know uh, uh, find solutions and find better different uh, mechanism to find better solutions. So so we will be able to create a better world. So I'm very thankful to you, and we all are very thankful to you that you initiated this great movement, and we all are with you, and we will contribute through our abilities, because we all are from diverse background and from different nations and from different regions, and we all have different experiences. So collectively, when we will try to find solutions, we will I think and I believe that we will find better solutions to solve all these pressing challenges that humanity is facing right now. And as you providing us a platform and effective leadership, and I am very impressed by your work and your abilities, particularly your leadership abilities, and you uh, connected with different people, and through your hectic activities and your hectic engagements, we will we will able to build a better platform. And now we as we if we look at our team, we have all sorts of people available right now, from economists to from media person to from different activists. So it's great. And I'm very thankful to you that you provided me a chance to work under you. So I'm very it's great honor for me and great opportunity for me. Thank you so much for your nice gesture and your kindness and your for everything. You are just like a blessing, as I always say, that you are just like a blessing for me. So my best wishes for you and for the whole movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Junaid. And it's like I said, it's an honor to have you on board. And thank you for sharing your visions of it and where we're at and where we're going. We have, I guess, at this point, I just wanted to share we have so many things, but as far as our vision for right now, getting this movement started, it is our soft launch. We will be officially launching it next year on February 22nd, 2023. But our vision for the next 12 months is to share stories of hope, right? Share stories of hope, of things people have gone through, what they've learned from that, and be able to really, get that out in a big way across the entire nation of Canada and also every country of the world, and share that in a big way through the videos, the United Hope Challenge, and sharing stories as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to be doing. As far as book series and opportunities for people to have their stories published in a book. We'll share more about that a little bit later. So stay tuned, and you can hear a little bit more about an entire program and publishing company that we just recently started. So yeah, we're very excited to get people's stories out into the world, support each other, and to bring each other together in community, right? In human connection. That's what we're missing, and that's what's this missing link is right now. I just wanted to share. So when I was in meditation around this movement, I heard this quote here. And this is the basic for me. This is the basis of this entire movement. And it is hope without action is like fire without fuel. And you think about that, and that's a very deep statement when you think about fire, right? Without wood, without some sort of fuel, the fire will not burn. This is like our lives, right? This is an analogy of our life. If we sit there, if I was, going back to my story when I was laying on my bathroom floor when I was sick, if I just had a hope and a dream that yes, I'm going to get better, but I just laid there and I didn't get up and I didn't take that first step, that never would have happened, right? Your hope, your the dreams of the hope and the visions that you have will not become reality without the actions that you take forward. And that's what this is about, right? Bringing the action into our world in a whole new way. And it's about, hope. Hope is a passion for the possible. That's what I always like to say. It's a passion for the possible. What's possible. Hope brings that as far as the passion, the fuel that's underneath it all through the actions that we take. So thank you so much for being here, Janine. Again, I'm so appreciative again that you took the time out to
Thank
be
you so much.
here. So thank you so much, and thank you for all your contributions and your wisdom and your knowledge and your intellect and your experience. And again, the list goes on and on and on. All of the amazing gifts and talents that you have that you bring to this movement. So thank you so much for all of the above. And I know there's so much more to come moving forward. So thanks again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's so much that we have going on. I know we mentioned a little bit about sharing your stories, the books that we're going to be sharing. We have visions of an entire university that we're looking to create, the TV show, a Listeners of Hope program that we partnered with the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is interesting. This came about because my mom turned 70 last year, and she was looking for something to do with her extra time, when she's not at work. And I said, well, you got to have a purpose. You have to have something that you focus on in the day. And I think it's Les Brown that quotes this all the time. He says that, 2 years after you, there's a bunch of different research that is as mentioned, the 2 years after you retire is the time when most people get sick, and many people end up passing away during this time because they don't have hope. They don't have a purpose. They don't have something to look forward to in their day. And this program, this Certified Listeners of Hope program, came about with this vision, firstly of, retired people or people who are looking for more meaningful purpose that they can bring into their life and hope into their own lives through helping other people. Because it's a win-win. When we help other people, we help ourselves. There's just this cycle that goes around and around with that. So I think as far as that goes, we're going to be creating that. We do see visions of, many millions of people being helped from that. We're hoping to, in the process of getting sponsorship and funding, people have lost their jobs. We want to create jobs through this program. They will be, paid positions. People can come in, be a part of that. So we're in the process right now of working through all the logistics with that. So if you are interested in that, just go to our website and you can learn more about how to contact us. And we'd love to have you a part of that in any way, shape, or form if you're interested. So these are the main focuses, sharing our stories of hope, the United Hope Challenge, and then we're focusing on this Certified Listeners of Hope program in the next 12 months. And there's many other things we're working on. We'll talk about throughout the next hour here in our time together. But I want to move on and be conscious of everybody's time. I just wanted to briefly move on to our next guest, and I'd like him to share. He's going to share a little bit of his story and hope with what he's been through, and I'll let him share a little bit more about what he just went through the last week or couple weeks or a couple months or these past few years, I guess, looking back on that, and share a little bit more with you about that. And this is my good friend, my brother, Robert J. Moore, and he's just an incredible individual doing so many amazing things in this world. He's not only an amazing individual, he's somebody who shows up consistently, he's the founder and CEO of Magnetic Entrepreneur Incorporated here in Toronto in Canada. He owns a radio station. He's a 5-time best-selling author. The list goes on and on and on. He's spoken on stages with, Bob Proctor, some of the most prolific leaders in the world. Just an overall incredible individual and a very dear friend to me as well. So I'd like to bring up Robert J. Moore here to the stage, and welcome, Robert. It's great to see you, my brother, my friend.
How are you? I'm glad to see you're making this happen.
Yeah, I know we had a little bit of third time's a charm, right? That's what I always say.
You gotta, hey, it's your first round, so you gotta give you credit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're here now, and that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. We're taking action. We're moving forward. We're not letting anything stop us, right? Nothing will stop this.
Forward. I know that feeling. So I'll give you 5 minutes of what I was like in the past. Right, I was a drug addict, alcoholic. Lost 16 years in and out of jail. I didn't have any hope. I didn't know what hope was. I thought to myself, well, being somebody out there to be recognized, I had to have this big dream. You don't have to have a big dream. You just have to have a vision. That vision will lead you into that hope. Because what happened was I scared everybody away with my anger and everything else because I was a drug addict, alcoholic, and I was the kind of person that did not allow people near me. So what I had to do was I had to quit drinking and try and believe in myself. So I had an epiphany one day when I was drinking. I was 31 years old. Now, keep in mind, I have the mentality of in and out of jail 16 years, living on the street 7 years, drinking and drugging for 20 years, I guess. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I get over this? So I can't live in society without having a shot of booze or whatever it may be, or some drugs. I've had people die in front of me. I've seen a lot of different death. I've had my wife die in my hands when I was 20 years old, giving birth to my second child. My second child's married now. He's got a child on the way. I'm going to be a grandfather.
Mhm.
And a weird feeling that is, And next thing you know, I'm remarried now. I'm married now, happily married with a wife and several children. Um, but I had to utilize some skills. I had to put myself through training again. I had to figure out where I wanted to be. So when I'm looking at hope, I'm looking at the fact of I wanted to go and be a part of something. I don't know what I wanted to be back then. I just wanted to get educated because I knew I had to get my education. So I'm in a school of people 15 years junior to my age. When they're 15 years junior to my age, it's like they're talking about the parties and I'm 3 months clean sober. It's like, that's all I could think about. I was like, wow, man, I'd like to show these guys how to party. They don't know what they're talking about. So then I said to myself, I just prayed. I just prayed inside and I said, help me through this. I don't need this feeling of, what I want more. That's the thing. I mean, if you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're well and worthy daily, you're going to believe in that. If you sit in a barber's chair, what are you going to get? You're going to get a haircut eventually. So you're going to believe what you verb out there, right? So what your thoughts are. So I went to school and got my social service worker diploma, my addictions degree, my BA in psychology, my master's in counseling psychology, my harm reduction, mental health crisis, 2 honorary doctorate degrees. As you see back there, I got the Guinness World Record. I've been featured in Forbes magazine today. I brought my business from minus 150,000 to 3 mil. And I didn't do that because I didn't believe in something. I did that because I believed in something. It was one person, I'm going to tell you right now, one person back then that allowed me to feel hope, because she said to me something, I'm willing to be there for you, and nobody else was. That gave me an ounce of hope. That ounce of hope turned into another bucket of hope, and more and more and more. And today, people they don't believe me in my past. They say, oh, come on. We know you all over the internet. You've been on stages. You've been, I coached Les Brown's daughter, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? And a few other famous people. I just introduced you to Les Brown's daughter to do your forward, for her dad to do the forward. So simply put, I mean, to have the structure I have today inside of me, the balance, the fracture, and everything else I'm doing in my life means a lot. But I don't utilize doctor in front of my name. I don't put anything behind my name. Is because why? The reason why I do that is because I want people to believe in me. Back then, it was fake fronts, fake fronts, fake fronts. Cry wolf. I don't like that. I'd rather be me. So I put myself out there. And I'm a part of Ingram now. I got my publishing company. I have 3 sister companies I'm training right now. Nadine happens to be one of them. I'm training her and her company to make sure it gets up there. And there's a few others out there. One happens to be a 3.5-year-old boy. Believe it or not, my son. I'm running the business for him under his name, right? He's the publisher of it all, and his name's going on his writing it. So when he gets older, he won't have to worry about a job. He won't have to worry about money. He won't have to worry about too much. So that's, 15 years down the road. You got to protect them, right? You got to protect them. My older daughter's she already gets money out of me now. So you don't have to worry too much about that. So I don't know if you guys know what's going on with the world right now. The convoys, the truckers, and the freedom. I'm wearing a very special shirt that's very dear to me right now, this sweater. Okay, on it says 10/7 out of service. On the back, it says Convoy, Freedom Convoy 2022. I wasn't the leader or anything of it. I was participating, down there. I was enjoying myself, watching how things go in Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada. I tell you, it felt dark going in that town. It really felt dark going in that town. It was really scary to be in that town. I don't know why. It just felt dark. There's a lot of stuff going on with the government, a lot of things that we're not all liking. And it's probably why it felt dark. And not only that, when you look at their logo, it doesn't look right to me. Let's just say, look at their logo and you'll see there's 666 on it. That's their logo that starts off with. So, but when I got around the people downtown, the millions of people down there, that was, on Saturday nights, you get to see a different person. You get to feel a different person. You get to know a different person, because it's like going to church and you're the only one there. Is that really believable? When you have people in the church that are supporting each other, united, you feel something more, because you're feeling the energy from the other people. So when you got 6 million people at an event that's freedom, trying to get your freedom back from the government, you're going to feel that. So I was there for a week and a half, but then I wasn't allowed to get an Airbnb anymore. They were cutting me off, blocking me up. Couldn't go if I went to a hotel, it was $100 a night at first. All of a sudden, when they know your name, it's now $350 a night plus tax. And it was like, wow, really? Why so much? Well, you're related to the convoy, because they didn't like the fact that, here's the thing, there's so many different lies about it. I want to tell you that be careful what news you watch, be careful who you watch and what you know about this, because of the fact of a lot of the news are paid by the government. A lot of things happen down there. When the act came out, emergency act, the first round, the 7 days, there was a lot of different things going on. And a lot of things that are going to get people in trouble. I'm being very cautious what I say, because I'd rather be loose about it, but I can't. You know what I mean? Because I don't want things coming back on me. And this is definitely something that can come back on you. I got the leaders of the convoy were arrested. One got $100,000 bail. And another one just this morning, she was refused bail. Ever since the act came out for the 30-day one, they refused her bail. Now I'm waiting to see if 2 other people that are still left in are able to get out. And I'm wondering if they're there to make an example of things now. I mean, if they're actually going to be making an example of them for what not to do. But here's one thing I want the world to know. It's not over. It's not over at all. You want to know why? I got wind, and I talked to all the people, and that there's 10,000 trucks. 10,000 trucks still worldwide going at her right now. And it's also, this whole thing has gone worldwide. The whole thing. You got the United States. You got about 50 different places that I know of got thousands and thousands and thousands of trucks, all fighting for freedom. And if you guys know, and maybe in your town, maybe in your city, the mandates are coming down. The mandates are coming down. And it's absolutely amazing to see. They're sitting there, everybody's thinking that, they got wiped out in Ottawa. That was just the beginning. They had to happen. That had to happen to show some true colors of the government. All right. That doesn't mean we lost. That means we opened the can of beans, all worldwide, so people could see what's going on, so they know which way to take this to the next level. And they're taking it to the next level. It is very interesting to watch it unfold. But at the same time, it's scary, because the government doesn't have to answer anybody anymore. With this acting, he just answers to himself and does whatever he wants. And I mean whatever he wants. I seen people, two planes come in from the UN. The army here refused to come in, but all of a sudden there was people there, and they were fighters. And the UN was there too. So, and they don't speak English. They just, they just push you around, beat you up, and smash out the windows. And it's pretty scary. But how bad does he want his power, as opposed to how bad do I want my freedom? That's what everybody's looking at. We're tired of the mandates. We're tired of the things going on. We're tired of being a troll. I mean, do you mind if I ask you permission to have my breakfast in my own home? Do you mind? They're saying you can't even get your license or insurance or anything unless you have a Q, one of those Q things, codes. That's what we were fighting for. And we weren't doing it to be rude. We were very, very calm, collective, peaceful, but they made us out in the world like we were the ones starting all the stuff. We were blockading things. We didn't block anything. Every road that we were on had one open spot. There were only one ways anyways. And the people that lived there said it was the cleanest and the crime was down 90%, but they switched everything around. They switched everything around to make them look good, to make them look, oh, well, hey, we got to get rid of this. We can't have this. It's messing up our stuff that we're trying to do. That's very scary. It's very scary when you're doing something like that because you don't know the hidden agenda on this. And if we're messing up something that they're trying to put together, the new reset, well, it's hard to maintain that, right? But anyways, I am doing a book on it. I've done 121 books already, 5-time international best-selling author, and I just love what I do, and the freedom is there. I'm going for it. You even mentioned you got some stuff that was dropped down, the mandates at your area.
Yeah, just on what was it, midnight on February 13th, there was the vaccine mandate they just dropped. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? These stories are phenomenal. And I think the end of February, March 1st, they have the mask mandate that they're finally, thank God, getting rid of.
Well, I mean, it's funny because all the mandates are going down except for like the immediate area where I'm at, where things were happening. Like that was a big fight, and it's still not over. It's just like beginning kind of thing. But at the same time, you see all the mandates going down. You see all these MPs coming across. And look, we don't need this no more. It's not about it. Honestly, it was never about the jab in the first place. I don't care if you're jabbed or not jabbed. It was never about that to begin with. People call it a plandemic. And you know what? I know some inside stuff that I'm going to call it a plandemic. It was planned, and we're upsetting their plans, so they're not liking it.
Exactly. Your story is phenomenal, and the things you went through. And I know you and I were talking the whole time you were down in Ottawa, and you'd come with your video, and it was just one of those moments that's priceless to be able to witness what was happening there. And it is history that we're living in right now, and this is why it's more important now than ever to have hope, no matter where you're at in your journey, and know there is hope for a better today and a better tomorrow for both of it, right? Not just tomorrow. It's like we have that choice to choose hope now, right? Hope now. And I just have a question, Robert. Like, you've been through so much, and I know your story is one of the most heartfelt stories I think I've heard out there of what you've been through and struggles you've overcome. What would you like to say to, I think, people that are struggling right now, or maybe a couple things that you've learned in your journey on how to help people that are, they kept getting knocked down, and then they say, what's the point in even hoping anymore, because I'm just going to get knocked down again. What would you say to those people?
What? Honestly, I mean, like, I've lost 3 brothers. 3 brothers of mine have died. Literally, they've died. One in 2001, one 2015, one 2020, and it was drugs and alcohol related. And my dad dying, my mom dying, my stepmom, my biological mom's alive, but you're going to have things happen in your life. There are obstacles in your life. We're going to get depressed. We're going to get those feelings. You got to overcome those feelings. Like Tony Robbins says, you have 5,000 negative feelings come through your mind per day. How you filter them is up to you. I worked in the mental health field for a long time. I worked as a psychotherapist for a long time. One of my favorite lines I tell people is, don't let, a simple situation, a thought process, a temporary situation become a permanent. So don't use a permanent situation for a temporary situation. Otherwise, what I'm saying is, don't commit suicide for something that's temporary, because what you're doing is you're making something permanent out of something temporary. And I tell that to a lot of people because I've seen people grieve. I've helped over 200,000 people now. You know what I mean? And that's just not grieving. That's, I mean, I've helped yourself out with your father there when you were going through some hard times and you just couldn't figure out how to let it go. And I just gave you some simple advice and I told you just try it out, see how it feels, you know, and you come back with some really good results on that. Sometimes it's just that we need that extra guidance. Sometimes we just need that, you know, hey, that friend, someone to have that shoulder, someone to know we have that, they have their backs, right? And you know what? I got to say, I love the world right now. And I love Canada too. United was one, man. I've seen this. I've seen people, all races, all different colors. Some couldn't speak English. Some, I can't speak their language, but we're united. And you know what? We're all hugs. We all hugged down there. There was no mask. Nobody wore a mask. Do you see me sick right now? I'm sorry. I was down there for more than 14 days and there was no mask. And I was around almost 6 million people. I'm sorry to say, but I mean, that might tell you something.
Exactly, right? Exactly. It's like you see that and you witness things firsthand, the truth of what's actually going on, right? And this is part of this movement too, is how can we get truth out into the world to be told, you know, with all the corruption and, you know, the uncertainty and the deception of the illusions of what the media is portraying right now. And like you said, you lived it, you were down there, right? So you saw that firsthand.
I was firsthand, and that's the difference. I seen the media come there. All right, the different medias come down there, and they're facing the other way at the police officers and talking about them. Why don't you turn the camera the other way, where you see the thousands and thousands and thousands of people dancing around, having fun, hugging, enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? But you wouldn't do that because they're paid media. Propaganda, man. Propaganda, paid media. Mm. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've never been into politics in my life, ever. I went down here. I'm telling you, man, I got more in my earful to learn. I learned so much, and it was not that I was willing or wanting to learn. I just got in with some certain people that were, you know, happened to be really involved in it, and I got to learn a lot. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm not trying to tell people to go get a job or not get a job or fight against the government. I'm just saying we have to make our own free choice. I mean, that's all we care about. I don't want to be sit there and told I have to do this or I'm not having a license. I can't go across the border because I don't have a Q card and my vaccines or whatever it may be. I don't think that's very fair. You know what I mean? I wanted to go back to where it was 2019, where it all began, where everything felt so comfortable, so free. If I wanted to go to Florida for a month, I can. If I want to go for 6 months, I can. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference there. And I don't want to be stuck in just Canada. You know, even flying, believe it or not, flying from Ontario to Canada, like that part of outside of it, like where you are in that, they won't let you do that either. You have to have your vaccines. That's one of the reasons why one of the leaders of the convoy is still in jail. They said, well, how about we just rent a car? You have to have a vaccine to rent a car. Okay. It doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of excuses are coming out. And if you listen to the government, his solution to everything, we just need to make sure you're vaccinated. Well, guess what? There's two people. I'm just going to say this briefly. Two people that said this. One was Doug Ford. Doug Ford said, simply put, you can have 10 jabs, but you'll still get COVID. And there's proof because the government just happened to have third shot, his jabs, and he had COVID. All of a sudden, when the convoy was there. But I mean, you can make your own decision on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's one of those things. Absolutely.
I can't say nay or yay about it, but I mean, I can actually talk a good communication if we're not being taped or if we're, you know, I mean, if there's a lot more to it going on that I can at a campfire, watch out, here I come. You know what I mean? But I mean, they have you other way. I mean, they can do the internet stuff, and I mean, I know they're watching me. I know that for a fact. You know, they had the things flying in the air, the drones and that, and they were pretty much on us. and there was police outside my door yesterday. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting arrested. I don't know. They said everybody was there is being repercussions of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we just keep hoping that the best is coming soon, and the light is closer than what we think it is, right?
Let's just say what we did was we disturbed a lot of things.
Yeah.
What that movement there gave a lot of people hope. A lot of people hope.
Yeah.
They got 60,000 trucks right now in the U.S. going to D.C. 60,000 trucks. They had a crap load of trucks go by where you are, right? Up in your area, they had a lot go through.
Oh, there's like thousands, right? That video. Yeah, exactly.
There was one of the biggest ones I've seen. I think it was over 100 kilometers long. That convoy was over 100 kilometers long straight. Like, that's a long convoy.
Yeah,
that's a lot of trucks. But just picture yourself being so united. You're going underneath a bridge, people waving flags, right? And you got a couple flags on your car and you're just honking your horn. Feel the feeling of it. Like, I got goosebumps just thinking of this now, and remembering how it was. I'm on the highway, even today. Today I had groceries come to my house. It was one of the guys I met from the convoy, and I'm hours away from that place. I'm hours away, and his uncle just happens to be in town, but they happen to run the convoy up there for the dinner and that to help out with the food. And he's like, he's from Alberta. What coincidence is that? I don't believe in coincidence. I just think it's God keeping anonymous.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But when you're looking at people, okay, guys, if you're feeling depressed, find something you like doing. If you're becoming bored, bored's an emotion. I'm going to tell you right now, I know a lot about emotion. I was a specialist in all this stuff. And when you get bored, we tend to either eat, we get depressed, or we just want to sit there and flick the TV. You don't want to watch anything particular. You just want to flip until you see something you like. It's like the channel music. You do the same thing in your car. Oh, flip. Oh, that's a good song. Then you're moving on to another one. Just leave it one thing. You get depressed. There's always people to lean on. There's always people to talk to. Not everybody's going to think you're nuts, right? Make sure you take care of number one, because you will not going to be able to take care of someone else. Otherwise, it's like the old saying, if you're on a plane and the masks come down, do you put that on your child first, or do you put it on you first? I need to put it on me, because without me, I won't have that child to look after. Right? So I got to make sure I take care of number one first. It sounds kind of cruel, because in my mind, I would rather take care of my child first, right? And I would suffer for that. But then if I'm not healthy enough, how am I going to do something to help that child out?
Exactly. Yeah. And I always say that we have pillars of hope in the global movement, and mental health and health is always number one, right? Because like without our health, without our sound mind, we can do nothing. Like nothing will happen, no matter how hard we try, right? So I love that you just brought that up and mentioned that. It's so powerful, Robert, so powerful. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all you do in the world. And thank you for being such an amazing friend and brother, and just for so many people, not just me, but so many people in the world who look up to you as a role model. You're an inspiration to us all. And I thank you so much for taking the time out today
It's an honor. It's an honor
to be here today. So thank you very much.
All right. No worries. Cheers. And everybody, you know what? If you haven't been told today, you're loved. All right. I love you. I think the world of you. No matter what you're doing, the right or wrong thing, I'm not the judgmental person. God is. Remember that. You got to face him, not me. But if you need to listen to someone, you need someone to hear, you need someone to think of, go look in the mirror, man. Say you're well and worthy. Because you know what? The more you tell yourself you're well and worthy, the more you're going to feel better about yourself. And remember, those obstacles that you're going through, you have to get through to get to the other side, to learn those different emotions. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, learn those emotions, because when you go through it again, it makes it easier to go through, and it's sweeter on the other side.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much,
right.
Robert. God bless. Have a great day. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much again for everything. All
right. Best of luck for today.
Thank you so much. Take care. All right. Cheers. All right. Wow, that was phenomenal. And just an interesting perspective and just like amazing, amazing insights on what's going on in our world with the Freedom Convoy. And to have somebody here at our global movement today speaking about firsthand experience, being right down there on the hill in Ottawa, and the hope that he saw in the people that are there and the truth that was revealed through that. Such a grateful experience that we have to be able to go through all of that. I just wanted to briefly touch upon hope itself and the fact that hope actually takes practice. Most people think when you think of hope that it just comes, it's just there. But the more we practice hope and taking action forward, the easier it becomes. It's like riding a bicycle, right? You may not have done it for a while, but the more you get back on, the better you become. And you might not have done it for a while, but you might be 10 years down the road and you can still get on a bike, you can still ride a bike. And it's just the idea with hope, right? We always have that hope that's inside of us. Sometimes it's deep far down that we don't know where it is and we're not accessing it, but know that it's always there. And we always have the choice to choose actionable hope and choose to make the decisions to move towards something in our life that's going to make a difference, not only in our own life, in our family's life, in our children's life, in our spouse's lives, in our friends' life, acquaintances' life, but in the lives of so many other people that are out there right now. There's a few things too, even with people and youth in university and people who are studying. And there was actually a study that was done, I think it was the Arizona State University, and they came up with there's so many benefits from practicing hope, and the students that practiced hope on a regular basis, their grades improved. They got along better with others. There's a whole bunch of other things. Positive mental health, right? They had an overall better self-confidence towards themselves. There's so many benefits of just having hope itself. And I always say hope is different than love. Hope is even more powerful than love, right? With love is unconditional, it's there, but hope is always there. Hope never goes away. It's always there no matter what. I just wanted to bring up Eliza. I'm not sure. Eliza, are you still there? She's one of our youth ambassadors with the Global Movement of Hope. And I just wanted her to pop on if she's still here. If not, we'll come back to her. Just to share a little bit from the youth's perspective in what people are going through right now and what they just went through with the pandemic. If we can come back to her too. But I just wanted to keep moving on here. I wanted to keep sharing some stories and things that we're going through. We have a couple other special guests we want to bring on and share their stories of what they're going through. So I have the next gentleman we're going to bring up here is a gentleman that I just met actually very recently and was very inspired by the person that he is and the heart that he has for so many people. And he was somebody that I just really had a deep respect for right from day one. And I just honored to have him here. He's been one of my advisors through this entire global movement. This is the first time I've done a movement like this, but I knew it was, at the beginning meant to make a difference and impact and transform, millions of lives and leading to billions of lives, over the next few years. And if not sooner, I would say, you pray for something, and then, or better, or sooner, or, according to God's plan, not our plan. And so I'd like to bring up Carlos Sakira here, introduce him on the stage next. Just an incredible person, human. And he is one of our directors also with the Global Movement of Hope. He's the CEO of Inspire, Carlos Inspire Show, which we just did a podcast not too long ago on the Global Movement of Hope, which is amazing. And I encourage each and every one of you to go and check it out. Listen to the podcast. It's incredible. He's one of the world's best personal development coaches and also business advisors, amongst many other things, humanitarian, just amazing things. I could go on and on and on. So Carlos, welcome. So great to have you here. And so excited to hear your story and your take on hope and why we need this, why you decided to be involved, and anything else you feel like sharing with the gentleman and the wonderful people who are here today.
First, I wanted to give you a shout out, my sister, and you are doing it. And, it's not easy, ladies and gentlemen, to put a event of this magnitude, to spread hope when there's so much negativity out there. And one thing that I always say, what is wrong is always available. So what is right? But at the end of the day, we have the ability to draw a line in the sand and decide what path are we going to choose. I had to make that choice. Once upon a time, 32 and a half years ago, I was 6.5 years old. I was hungry. I was lost. There wasn't no hope. My father died in a car explosion in a very horrible car accident. I was only a baby. My stepfather was murdered. When I speak around the world, whether I'm mentoring CEOs in Silicon Valley or celebrities in Hollywood or small business owners somewhere around this planet, I always tell them, don't make me call my mama. They call my mother a viuva negra, the black widow. See, when it comes to problems, anger, misery, as you hear, those things, they don't need company. So about perspective, there is somebody right now around this planet that still has worse than you. And because all that I know as a child, 6.5 years old, I was going to end my life with a knife in my hand. Because that's all I knew. Violence, anger, sadness, depression, people dying on the streets. The news were filled with misery, anger, violence, fights, separating people. This has been going on for a very long time. So imagine as a kid, that's all that you see, and you're born in that environment. So I wrote that famous letter. I no longer wanted to be here. But right before I stabbed myself in that kitchen, in that dark day, God spoken with me. And guess what he whispered into my ears? I call the whispers from God. You know what he said? He said, hey kid, I get it. It's tough. It's hard. But I bet you there's still a lot of other kids outside of Brazil, in Africa, in Uganda, in China, in Japan, in US, in Morocco, in India, that still have a little bit worse than you. Even though you lost everything, you go on rice only for 60 days, you're getting beaten physically and mentally and abused. There is still others that are going through wars. And you know what else he said? He said that your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. Come on, Brother Carlos. Say that one more time because somebody needed to hear that today. God said your future doesn't need to equal your past unless you keep carrying on the stories with you. You listening to me right now, or watching me, or reading this transcription, I want you to know that I love you and I wish you nothing but love, happiness, hope, and kindness. I don't care who you vote from. I don't care whether you have a jab or not. I don't care where you go to school. I don't care what religion you come from or what background you have. We are all equal. One thing that I constantly tell people that if your assignments doesn't meet your ambitions and mission in life, even your achievements, they will be empty. Come on, Brother Carlos. Are we preaching at the United Challenge Hope movement? If your assignment doesn't meet your ambitions and missions in life, even your achievements will be empty. Trust me. I went on bread and on rice for months at a time. I lost more friends and family members than most. I come from the body or from the hood. Many times I heard I was never going to go anywhere. I was going to die. I don't belong in this side of town. I don't belong in Hollywood. I don't belong in New York. I don't belong in Rio de Janeiro. Oh yeah, watch me. You don't know my story. You don't know my struggles. And guess what, my friends? They don't know your story. I mentor many people in my lifetime and I tell them, the unknown person in the room has the greatest leverage. They don't know your story. Keep sharing your story. Keep fighting for what you believe. Because when you share your story and you use your voice, you give others permission to use their voice. Shout out to all my friends in Canada, around the world, who are fighting for what they believe. If you believe in something, go after. Life is too short. One thing that I always say, if you're going through tough times, remind yourself this, that the days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. That's why I love this movement. It's an honor for me to be a board of advisor. It's God that speaks through me to be part of this movement. I want you guys to get out there. I want you guys to put videos out there and use the hashtag United Hope Challenge, because life is all about the mission, never the commission. Never forget that, my friends. God bless you all. Bet you Nadine, she's having a cough.
Yay! Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Carlos. I love your message. That's so powerful. Absolutely so powerful. And it is through the things that we do, how we show up, right, in every moment, that really, at the end of the day, it's the little things that make our world and make a difference in the lives of so many other people. And love your message, love your heart for people.
I appreciate you, my friend. It's the little stuff. It's like I always tell people to inspect what they expect. I did a video for the United Hope Challenge. I was out there. My daughter and I, we do lots of things. We normally don't put stuff on video, but because this is a challenge, I'm challenging you guys to go against my own beliefs, to do the videos, whether you want to show yourself doing it, or you don't want to show yourself. You just want to show yourself in the video, helping people. If you don't want to put them on video, if they don't give you permission, but just get out there and do a video. Like I did a video, I was out there and this homeless asked me for $1. And then my daughter and I, what do? We take a bunch of money, even if you don't have that much money, if you only have dollars, but we take $1,000, we break into 10 $100 bills, or you can break into 20 50s, or if you have only $100 to your name, do 5 20s or 100 ones, and get out there and look for people that are in even worse situations than you. So when he asked me for $1, I pulled a Benjamin and I gave it to him 100. He was a veteran. Tears started coming out of his eyes. He was so happy. He was jumping out of joy, to the point that almost he didn't want it to accept. I was there, I was doing the video, and he was talking in the back. It's like, yes, but sometimes, people, they don't want it to be on a camera, because if you were in that situation, I come from poverty. I didn't want people to be on my face with a cell phone. But some people like that stuff. If they wanted to be on the camera, you can put them on camera. Ask their permission. Get their signature. That is okay for you to put them on a video. But whatever you do, get out there and do a video. It takes 30 to 60 seconds that we are asking you. We're not asking you to bring your credit card here. We're not asking you to go do something crazy. We're not asking you to go protest with the truckers, when it's a freezing weather. Shout out to all my trucker friends fighting for what they believe. We're not asking you to do nothing crazy. All we are asking you, get on your car, on your bicycle, on your motorcycle, go for a walk in your community, go to a gas station, go to a 7-Eleven, go to a supermarket in the barrio, or even around your area. I bet you there will be homeless outside. There will be women with their children asking for money because they are in need. They might be selling something, CDs, tamales, something. There is people everywhere. It's increasing, the number of people homeless around the world, people in need. It takes one of us. Imagine if we can gather hundreds of millions of people to do what we are challenging you guys to do. We can end poverty in no time. We can make this a movement so stronger. But between my friend Nadine and I, and the other directors, and the amazing CEOs and influencers, they are joining this movement and sharing with their people, still not enough. It's an ongoing thing. As I always tell people, whenever you feel like giving yourself, killing yourself, going through some tough times, trust me, I've been there. I can relate to you. I feel your pain and anger. I always tell people, I wrote a very powerful book called Work Like an Immigrant, because I didn't dream about success. I worked for it. And you got to put in the time. You got to put in the work. But it's an ongoing thing. Next week, when you're done with the movement, when you're done watching this, you might be fired up right now and inspired by my words. Praise the Lord. It's never me. I'm just a vessel that the message comes through me. But I want you to find yourself, join a passion movement, whether it's us, the global movement of hope, or it's another movement. Pick a movement, pick a community that you can be part of it, that you can join, so that every time you feel like giving up on your family, on your spouse, on your business, on yourself, you're going to remember your brother Carlos and your sister Nadine, And you're going to get out there with your cell phone and you're going to record a 30-second to 60-second video helping somebody. I don't care if you're filling up somebody's gas in the gas station. You go for a cup of coffee, pick the most beat up coffee place in your town and go over there, go to the body or go to the hood. Go help people in need. Surprise them. If they allow you to record them, do it. If they don't, just do it yourself. Maybe they can be on the background and you are just talking about how fired up you are. And you are challenging somebody else on camera to go do it. And you put that on TikTok. And you put that on Instagram. And you put that on your stories and on your reels. Just do it. And I promise you, if you do it one day at a time, just one act of kindness, if you wanted to grow, even if you wanted to grow your business, just do more acts of kindness every single day. Put one video out there every day of you doing something, helping somebody else. I promise you, you have more people following you and helping and coming to you for help than you ever dream of. But the number one thing is consistency. Because, the devil's always whispering. As I always say, new levels, new devils. I don't know what your dream is in life. But I do know that inside every single one, you have way more than what you've been playing on. I know that you can give yourself 1% more every single day. I know that you can push one day more. If 32 and a half years ago, a little boy that had no father, no one, was able to leave the hood, I could choose crime. I could choose corruption, but I choose hope. I choose to spread love. I choose to spread kindness. I choose to bring people united in moments like this when everyone, the media, the agendas, the propagandas want to disunite us, want to separate us. I go against the devil. New levels, new devils. If you want to grow in life, you must prepare for it. That's the message, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it. That's a story and you're sticking to it. I love it. I love it.
You know it.
Thank you so much.
This message.
Boom, right? Boom. Wow, it's powerful. So powerful.
Come on now. You got me fired up. This is just, it fires me up. Nothing more. When people die spreading love and hope, that's the stuff that I have so many crazy stories, man. It's crazy. We'll save some of those stories for another time. Nadine and I, you guys are going to see us more often. This over here is just the beginning. We're going to be coming and traveling to some major cities, in the future. And we're going to be doing a lot of great things. If you want to be part of it, just keep following us. Just follow the movement. Join the movement. Follow the movement on the internet, on Instagram. Nadine just started. This baby just been born. But if every single person here watching us, every person involved, every person giving their time, every director, every employee, just challenge your family members, challenge your loved one, challenge your neighbor. Hey, I'm about to go shoot this video. Could you come with me so you can record me? I bet you what's going to happen. He's going to be so happy. Might a tear or two come out of his eyes or her eyes or whatever. And they will go do it. And now you record them doing it. And now it's two people putting it. And then you guys go and do the same thing again next week. Or whenever you feel like down, like I tell people, if you feel like crying right now, cry. Go ahead, cry all you want right now. But when you're done, now let's shake it up. Because, it's these moments that you are now in darkness is not here to stay. It will pass. Trust me. I almost gave up several times. So eventually it should go away. If life already sucks, if you have nothing, how bad can it become? How you cannot go if you're already on the bottom, it can not go nowhere else. It's only one place to go, my friend, and that's up. And it starts with you shifting your mind, shifting your focus and those emotions away from darkness, depression, anger, and sadness, because that's the agenda. That's all we see out there. The moment that you turn that down, give up on that media, on that Netflix movie, or surfing social media today, and you're like, let me listen to Carlos. Let me go try this out. Let me just give it a try. Let me just have hope for a minute over here. And get out there and do the video. It doesn't have to be money. It could be you helping somebody. Just do something. Go to the local, barrio and they get together to cook food and soup to give to the homeless. Even if you just go over there, can I volunteer? Can I cut some onions? As you're cutting the onions and crying, record yourself. And say something. I listened to this 6'5", 350-pound Brazilian guy from the jungle who lives in Silicon Valley in California, and he had a crazy message. He damn, he overcomes some evil shit, and you go and you talk about it. Talk about Nadine's story if you don't want to share yours. Talk about my story. We give you permission. Share it. Talk about somebody else's compelling story that you hear. But whatever you do, just do it right now. Draw a line in the sand. Schedule in your cell phone. Put right now a reminder. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. or 11 o'clock, whatever time you decide, I'm going to go to a gas station, a 7-Eleven, to a supermarket, and I'm going to help somebody out of the blue. I'm going to surprise them. And then if I'm going to find somebody to go with me so that person can record me, and then you show your face. If the other person agreed to show theirs, you can show it too. So you see the emotions. And then you put the hashtag United Hope Challenge. It's not hard, guys. It just takes one of us. If 100 of us will do this today, and we challenge one more, that means we have 200 tomorrow. And then we have 400 the next day if you repeat the process. And then we have 800, 1600, 3200, 6400, 12,800, 24. I missed the mathematical calculations. My daughter's not here right now. She's amazing at math. But so just keep doing it. It becomes this movement can grow so big, but it starts with every single one of us. So very happy to be here, my friend. I'm very proud of you. I know that it's not easy to put this together and bring so many amazing people together. And it's just the beginning. And there's going to be a lot of amazing things ahead of us.
Amen. Yeah, the best is yet to come, right? And I love what you just said about, it doesn't have to be money, and it can be something that comes up that's so unexpected that you don't even know. And I just have a quick, before you take off, I know you got to run. I'm going to be conscious of your time too, but I wanted to share a story about when I went to Las Vegas and I was looking for something to bring back my 4 kids. And we went on a helicopter over the Grand Canyon, landed at the Colorado River at the bottom. And I was sitting there for a minute, and I'm telling this story for a reason, because I want everybody here to trust your intuition and trust the things that come to you. And it's for a reason when it comes up, and take action upon whatever that is, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter how scary that is. Trust what you hear. And I was standing there. So we landed on the ground. We only had 10 minutes. We were having very quick lunch, and then we were going to be going again. And I sat there and I was feeling quite disappointed because I thought, I don't have anything to take back to my kids. There's nothing really in Vegas for kids, and they're all really little. I think my youngest was like 9 months, just a baby at the time. And I sat there for a minute, and all of a sudden I heard, look down, just look down, look at your feet. And I have something I want to share with you all today, because I looked down, and what I experienced next was something that you cannot make this up, folks. This is real. This is more real than what you think. And I looked down, and what I saw within a radius of about 2 feet, right below my feet, were 4 rocks in the shape of a heart. And they were all, here's one of them. They're not perfect hearts. And I want to show you all of them. I brought all of them here for you today. And here's another one. So you can see the shape of a heart.
Wow.
Here's another one. These are all of them. This is for my baby. The little one was for my baby, and the biggest one was for my oldest son. And then this was the other one. So very, very different shapes. So I want to say this challenge comes in all shapes and comes in all sizes. And you don't know when that next moment might be. And I brought these rocks, like these 4 rocks, I brought them back to my kids. And they were the best presents I think I have ever brought back from. And they cost nothing. They cost nothing. And it was just simply opening our eyes, taking action on the little things in our life that truly matter most. And it was a memory. They said, Mommy, we're going to keep those rocks as long as we live. That's a memory we'll never forget, from the bottom of the Grand Canyon, right? So you just never know where. It can be out in your backyard, or, out at this park playing with your kids, or it can be, going and visiting an elderly person in the nursing home, or, just picking up the phone and saying, hey, what's up? How's it going? Just wanted to say hi today, right? You might make that person's day or week or month or year, right? You don't know what they've been going through. So just encouraging everybody for that. Carlos, I loved you said that. I just wanted to share that with everybody. I also got a surprise for everybody. This is so interesting. So we're talking about the global movement of hope today. You're never going to guess what arrived at my door this morning. And I was just
What you got?
over the moon. So I get this big package that comes to my door. And I'm looking at I didn't order anything. What's coming to my door, right? So strange. I look, the little packing slip that's on the outside of the package that comes. You can kind of figure out what it is, right? If you look close enough, you can figure out what it is before you open it. It kind of ruins the surprise. But I look at it, and what it says on this box is pears. And I'm looking, I'm saying, somebody sent me pears? No, that's got to be wrong. That's not right. I laugh because it's so true. You can't make this stuff up. So as I'm opening the box, I'm looking, and guess what was in the box? Take a guess, Carlos. What do you think was in the box?
Pears. Wow.
And it's nuts. And this is like
That's so cool.
my box of hope. And there was actually one. I don't know if you noticed, like the one pair, this one was like gold. So this gold wrapped pair. And as I look at it, it's in amongst all these other pairs, right? So then again, here's the opportunity to allow us to step into and notice, like, how can we be the golden pair in our life for somebody? And this message came through that I needed to share with everybody. Let's be this golden pair and make something happen that is so unexpected, so unreal that people can't even believe it just happened. Like what just happened? Who would have ever guessed you would get pairs in the mail from somebody? And I don't even know who they're from, have no idea who sent them to me, but it was something I knew I needed to show and be a part of this launch today because it was something so unexpected, but something that just brought so much joy to my life that I got to share that with you all today.
That is so cool. What a great story. It's like, and it's funny. It's like, it's right back to what the things what do we do, right? It's like, you get out there and you do something. Like I always tell my daughter when she was little, whenever you say somebody you love them or you cheer them up, she's always cheering her friends in martial arts and school, whatever, right? And even if you don't receive it back, it's okay because we're doing it for ourselves. We're not enough for others. It feel our heart. It feel our love. Like that person that dropped in those box, anonymous. You have no idea how much happens. Maybe that person is going through something in their life. Maybe they wanted to kill themselves and they were suicidal and they realized, hold it. Am I really gonna be depressed over that prick that cheated on me or left me or haven't paid child support or that boss that didn't appreciate me and didn't promote me or that fired me or chose somebody else instead of myself? Am I really going to leave that in that crazy eight, as my brother Tony Robbins loved to say, and not break that cycle? No, that cycle breaks today. Just do something crazy like Nadine said. Go make some boxes like that. Invite some of your friends, your teenager friends, and go make a bunch of sandwiches like Subway sandwiches. If you guys are on a budget, everybody pitches in $5-10. Go to Costco, get 2 big loaves of bread for $10. Buy a bunch of turkey and cheese, slice them up, cut some tomato, put some mayo and mustard. Now make a bunch of sandwiches, wrap them up. Find that golden foil, just like they have the golden pear. And you go be that golden person for somebody today, because sometimes that's all they need is somebody to give them something without an expect because they were hungry. And now you feel their soul, you feel their spirit, and they're going to have the energy to maybe do something else and remind themselves, you know what? There are great people out there. There is hope. There is more to life than this. And you never know. You can be the spark in that person's life. But it's all they take is the little things. Like the other day, I had all these wins. My team messaged me. I was in the supermarket with my daughter. Say, oh, Isabella, all right, bestie. Grab the phone, let's do it. And they were playing some cool song that I like it from Mexico. My wife is Mexican, Italian, American. I call her triple threat. She's danger. I am half Brazilian, half American. So now my daughter goes to get the phone and I'm dancing in the middle of the supermarket. People passing through the aisles. They are laughing. They're like, yeah. You just, in their face, they were like, oh, serious, walking around. And like, I'm in California, so some areas in Cali is a little people like walking around, they angry, they pissed off, they depressed because, a bunch of stupid regulations going on. But, so you do something like that, everybody change and light up. And you become that spark in somebody's life. Don't worry about what the people are going to say. Oh, you crazy. I'm not going to do a video, put me on the internet, dancing in the supermarket. Why not? Why not? Life is too short. Just do something that's totally different, totally out of the norm. Whenever you go to something difficult, I promise you, the more that you do it, the easier it will become to deal with the depression, with anxiety, with all that stuff. Trust me. I've done life, coaching and strategic intervention coaching for many, many years before my consulting and speaking years. I love that stuff because I know sometimes it's just one thing. One little thing that you can be the spark, like that person that came to Nadine's door, like that when I was in the supermarket, or when I helped that homeless today with the $100, he was expecting $1, and then you just put those videos out there. And then what are you going to do? You're going to use, what's the hashtag? United Hope Challenge. You're going to use the hashtag and you go be that spark in somebody else's today. One of my favorite words from God in the Bible is let there be light. So you go be the light in somebody's life today, because life is all about the mission. Never the commission. It's always about the contribution, never the acquisition. It's your boy, Carlos Sakira, in the house. And because you are here, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring hope and show the world that it's about to go down.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. It's all about the little things. And Carlos, this has been phenomenal. Thank you, thank you, thank you a million times for everything, for showing up, for being you, for being that amazing light in our world right now. We need more people like you in this world. And it is a true honor and pleasure from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for just showing up. It's been a great
pleasure. It's my honor that you selected me to be part of this movement and help you guys out spread the message. I love helping others, and I cannot wait to see all the amazing things, and I cannot wait to see you guys' videos. A lot of the people here that are part of this project, we have lots of followers on social media, and when you guys submit your videos, guess what? If you are being creative and you're putting videos out there, and when you do it, every time that you feel depressed or sad, we're gonna be picking videos randomly, and we're going to be sharing on our social media. Now your videos is going to be in front of hundreds of thousands and even millions of people as we build this movement up. So thank you again, my friend Nadine. I know a lot of people are smiling right now in heaven upon us. And, we're going to keep it going into the last breath of our life. The hope will never end. We're going to keep uniting people. And we're just going to continue speaking life into others when they don't see it. God bless every single one watching us here. Love you all.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and then we'll be in touch again soon. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Peace out, my friend. Wow, that was phenomenal. Oh my gosh, there's just so many things. So, just so many takeaways, right? We just enjoy every moment, every little thing that happens, and be able to step into that. There's just so much. So I just want to ask you, everybody who's here, and we have people that are streaming from all around the world, every country of the world. We have our, some of our ambassadors who are here today, our directors, friends, family members, people that, we don't know, of all ages, all backgrounds, all religions, because it is an all-inclusive movement. I just want you to think, whoever is listening, whether you're listening to the live broadcast or the recorded down the road, just think for a moment, what gives you hope? What are maybe 3 things that give you hope? And there's many things that we can, think of hope. Like what we've been talking about today so much is acts of kindness, things that we can do for others. And for me, what brings me hope is sometimes being even outside in nature, being outside, surrounded by God's beauty, the trees, the ocean, the water, being surrounded by other people who care for us and who love us and want what's best for us. Sometimes even, a great story brings us hope, which is why we're doing what we do. The stories, when we share them ourselves, we get them outside of us, and it's very healing to be able to, share that with somebody, even if it's just one other person, or if there's, a bunch of people you share, like in this movement, the more people you share it with publicly, there's actually been studies done on that psychologically. The change that happens inside of you is actually greater itself, because there's the potential to help and impact more people. That way. It can be conversations, old friends, new friends, brave friends, people who are brave doing things like outside of their comfort zone. Butterflies. When I was little, I don't share this story very often. I used to play with the ladybugs. I'd go outside for hours, sometimes by myself, and just play with the bugs and, little things like that, right? It might even be taking a spoonful of honey, having your favorite food, the smell of, when your mom used to bake cookies or cinnamon buns, and that smell in your house. There might be a smell that brings you hope, that brings you back to childhood, or there's so many things we can think about. Birds flying in the sky, the freedom that we have, the peace, the love, the health. Again, the list goes on and on and on. There's hundreds of things. So I just challenge you right now to think of 3 things that bring you hope. Write them down and focus on them today before you go to bed. And focus on all 3 of them and make it happen. So we're going to continue moving through our day today and launching this global movement of hope. There's so much we still have to share, and some other amazing people that we want to bring on, and stories of hope. So the next person we're going to bring up is a gentleman I met very non-coincidentally in my eyes. I actually had a dream one night, and there was an event that a lady was putting on. I believe it was down in San Diego, California, and there was somebody that I heard in my dream I was meant to meet. I was debating whether or not shouldn't I go, and it was a business event, leaving my kids. And I had this dream that this is this person that was there that I was meant to meet. Person we're bringing up next is actually this person that I met there. And it is an absolute honor to have him here today as, again, my friend, my brother, my mentor, somebody who has been with me for a very long time and who also has one of the most inspirational, heart-wrenching, heartwarming, every emotion that's out there story of what he's gone through in his own life and how he's overcome some of the most horrific things, and just brought hope to so many people. He's just a pure joy and pure light in this world. So I'm just going to bring up Brett Figueroa, and then I'll introduce him here once we get him up. So hi, Brett.
Nadine!
Oh my gosh. So I got to introduce you. So Brett Figueroa is Tony Robbins' #1 former national trainer. He has he's trained over 3,000 different companies around the world, impacted many lives, saved many lives. He does training to this day on everything from mortgages to personal development to growth to everything that's out there business related. He is just an incredible human being, a humanitarian, gives back, has a heart of gold, and it's just a true honor to have you here today. So welcome, Brett Figueroa.
Nadine, thank you so much. Thank you. People say he does all this training, and I remember we talk about, people ask like, who's your market? And I say our market is whoever wakes up in the morning, leaves in the afternoon, and makes it back home at night, because everyone else perished and's gone. So human beings in general. So I want to say thank you. It's a blessing and it's an honor to be with you. And you know that we love you so much. And you're just such an inspiration out there. And it's exciting to watch, and it's exciting to see how much energy and how much emphasis you put into leadership, into events like this of bringing hope to the world. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, so it's great to be with you this morning.
Thank you so much. Great to have you here. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just wondering if you could share a little bit, and whatever you're comfortable, maybe a little bit of your story, and, people that are going through, difficult times right now, what advice would you give them? What wisdom do you have to share? I know you've been through so much, and we could probably sit on here for 10 hours and you still would have more to share. But some takeaways with that. I'd love to hear more from you on that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm always speaking, and I never know who it is that I'm speaking to that might be watching, that might be going through a difficult time, a difficult season, might be going through a challenging marriage, or maybe it's not your marriage, maybe it's your finances. If it's not your finances, maybe it's your fitness or your confidence or whatever that may be. And so for me, it's all about how can I spark some hope into that person where maybe they didn't have hope in the early minutes, but somewhere along something happens. And I think that if there's any one thing for me personally, it's keeping that hope alive. It's keeping that hope alive. And I know for me, I started in this game. I've been doing this now, Nadine, funny you talk about how long I've been doing it. It's now 27 years. I've been in the success industry, personal development industry. And for me, I got started in this business because I never lost the hope that one day I would make it or I'd create success or something of that. And a lot of people, they have a path of, okay, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to college and get an education, and then I'm going to get a job, and, I'll be in the job for 25, 30 years. I'll get a little watch at the end, and, I'll retire, comfortably and thereafter. I never went that route. I never went to college. I boarded a Greyhound bus at 19 years old with 50 borrowed dollars. Someone's like, dude, you need to get out of town, because if you don't, you're going to probably land like maybe some of the rest of your friends. And so it was just 19. I said, I'm out. I just boarded a bus, $50, and said, I'm gone, headed off to Los Angeles. And when I was out in Los Angeles, I just kind of dabbled around in some things, retail business, the mortgage business. But I was very unfulfilled, felt very unsatisfied in my quest in life. and my pursuit. I didn't really feel like I was making a difference. I had a tough time for me personally in the mortgage business. I just didn't really feel like I was really, really impacting. And so I remember I attended an event called LifeSpring back in about 1993. And LifeSpring was a 3-day training, had maybe 200 people in the event. All the trainings are always the same, usually about 150 to 200 people in the training. And I just remember it went for 3 days. I barely had any money. And it was in what was called the Garment District in Los Angeles. I had $500 to my name at that time. The training was $395. It was really like a black and red roulette game. Like it's either going to work or it's not. But I was willing to take the risk. I was willing to take that. Okay, here's what I've got. Let me throw some out on the table and see what happens. I mean, I had nothing really, honestly, truly to lose. I could have lost my money, but I'm sure I would have found a way to, to get back some money somehow, some way. But I remember I went through this training, 3 days, 12-hour days. And I remember going through this training and I was so impacted. And the training was about an area that for you and I as humans, we don't really spend a bunch of time really thinking about it. In school, we're taught reading, writing, arithmetic, science, history, things of that nature. Whereas in this course, this training was really about responsibility, vulnerability, authenticity, playing victim. How does our life seem to show up in this space called life? And so what I recognized is that there were a lot of untended to issues in my life, a lot having to deal with my childhood, which Nadine knows it was just nasty in so many ways. I don't focus on that because the fact is I am who I am today because of that. But, I think for many times people, it's the blessing in disguise. Many times, I wish I had a different upbringing. Yeah, but you probably wouldn't be who you are today if you did have a different upbringing. And so I learned a lot from that. But I just know that going through this training, I said, his name was Dan. Dan was my trainer. And Dan was sharp as a tack. And beautiful shirt, beautiful tie, crisp as crisp pants, polished shoes, perfect. And I remember somebody would stand up in the audience and they'd grab the microphone and they would start talking to the trainer and the rest of the audience. They would start talking about an issue they've been dealing with. And maybe this issue is something they've been dealing with their entire life, ever since they were a child. And I remember they would grab the mic and Dan would just handle it right away. Like he had all these skills that I was enamored by. I thought, oh my gosh, like this guy's like a magician. Like he just comes out of nowhere, takes somebody's challenge, their issues, their situations, and he was able to go bam and handle that. And the person within seconds is just bawling. Other people in the audience are bawling. Like I'm sitting, I was like a baby the whole time for 3 days. I cried so much. And I cried so much to see that you and I are really all alike. If they took that training room and put another group of 200 and then another group of 200 and another group until the world ended, each group of 200 had a set of concerns, a set of challenges, a set of frustrations, a set of disappointments, a set of all kinds of things. Many times we think, oh, it's just me going through this. And so what I recognize is we all kind of many times live in our own little silent misery. And so I thought to myself during that training, I thought, if I can do what Dan is doing, I thought if I could do that, man, I'm happy. I'm good. Like if I could be the genie and magician that comes into somebody's life and that's dealing with a certain set of circumstances or challenges, and I could have a set of skills and a set of tools that I can go bam and handle those after all the years they've been struggling with it, maybe in depression, maybe become an alcoholic, maybe a drug user, maybe something, that if I could help annihilate that and rid that, then I feel really great. As Nadine and this whole movement is bringing hope. So if I can bring hope into that person's life, I want to know at the end of my life, when I go see my maker, that he says, you did well, Brett, you served well. So I made a decision that this would be my life's work. And so for the next year, as I left out of there, I went to go start up a company called Life by Design. And I started writing a book and I bought watches and hats and shirts. And I failed miserably. Like if you're going to fail miserably. And that's what I did. And I didn't kind of sort of fail. I failed miserably. But what that did is it said, all right, well, you failed here, but let's see what it takes in order for you to get to the answers. And so in 1995, so one of the things I recognized, and the reason I failed is because he was a great magician, Dan. But like all great magicians, they don't show you how they do the magic. They just do the magic. And then we sit back and stand back and look and go, yeah, I could do that. Sure you can, if they showed you how they do the magic. And so I attempted to think I knew what I was doing, failed miserably. And so I thought, who could teach me something in this genre of work? I thought, Tony Robbins. If there's somebody that could teach me this line of work, it's this guy, Tony Robbins. So in 1995, I showed up on the doorsteps of Tony Robbins. I had no job, I had no money, and I had no car. What did I have? Hope. And that's really what allowed for me to go, where people go, dude, you had no job, you had no money, you had no car, and you just showed up on the doorsteps of Tony Robbins. I thought, yeah, if I'm going to be unsuccessful, I'm going to go to somebody that's successful that can help me move past that unsuccess place. So just everything in the universe just all kind of met in the right space. And I showed up there, I was in the lobby, and I thought I heard this big Tony voice, and I was like, that's Tony Robbins. I just stood up from my chair. I went to the end of the hallway and I saw all of Tony and his people coming towards me, and they were heading into the elevator. To me, all of the people that he was with disappeared, and I shook my hand into Tony's big giant mitt of a hand, and I walked him into the elevator and then walked him out to his car. And after that, the rest was history. And I started with his company in 1995 for $7.50 an hour. Now, the interesting part is that if I was 30 seconds later, I would have never went to work with Tony Robbins, because I would have never met Tony, which then gave me the inspiration or the hope that, hey, the universe has been just connected here so powerfully. I got to run with this. So I started in the game at $7.50 an hour, struggled really hard. I was in the boiler room, but I never lost hope, never. And I was the guy, my friend I was talking to the other day that I lived with, he would literally drop me off out of his limousine onto a bus stop. So, the city buses, they come right through, they pick you up at the bus stop. He would drop me out of his limo on the bus stop. The bus would then take me to work. And I'm wearing a suit and tie. I'm being paid $7.50. I'm in the boiler room making calls all day, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and setting appointments for trainers out on the field. And I would go to work and do my time at the office and make my calls and do my thing. And then I'd get back on the bus. The bus would then take me downtown San Diego. I'd get out of the bus and into a train. The train would take me inland, and then I would get out of the train and step into a cab. And then the cab would ultimately bring me home. It was crazy. I was out of money by the time I got home, clearly. And so ultimately they put me as a trainer. They said, this guy's too loud. He's too much on the inside. He's definitely an outside guy. So they put me out on the outside. And there's a team that Tony has that travels 48 weeks out of the year. And I like to just facetiously call them like the Navy SEAL 6. Like, they're the baddest dudes and ladies that Tony has. And they travel the road, and you're speaking to thousands of companies a year. About 1,000 companies, or maybe 500 companies a year, something like that. But you're speaking to a lot of companies out there training. So they put me out on the road. They said, Brett, let's get him out of the office. Let's put him on the road. 2 weeks out on the road. First of all, you're spoiled. They give you your car. They give you leads. They set appointments for you. They pay you. They do all these things. They basically spoil you. They put you up in corporate housing. You basically just show up. So I'm out there as a trainer. 2 weeks in, they pulled me off to the side and they said, Brett, we really like you. You're a good guy, and we've got to let you go. I'm thinking, I've only been out here 2 weeks. They said, yeah, but we've got somebody else that's more qualified. We need to let you go. And they were leaving San Francisco and then going to Los Angeles. And they said, well, listen, Brett, you originally came from Los Angeles. You probably have some, you're welcome to go to Los Angeles. I mean, we can't tell you where you can and cannot go. Tony's doing an event in Los Angeles. And if you want to go and promote for him, have at it. But we're not giving you a car. We're not giving you housing. We're not paying you. We're not giving you appointments. We're not giving you leads. We're not giving you anything. But if you love the dude so much and you want to make a difference in people's lives, have at it. So I went to Los Angeles, struggled my you-know-what off, and I had nowhere to live. So where I was living originally in Los Angeles, there was no space. My friend goes, dude, listen, I have a boat. And a lot of times people mistake that for like a yacht. there's yachts and then there's boats. And I had a boat, and I'm a big 6'5" guy, and I'm down there in the boat, and I'd get up out of the boat in the morning, and I would go and dress in the community showers, put my suit, my tie. I'd get all ready for the day. I had no money except just like little bit of money, but I would take what money I had, and I would go and I would get a payphone. And back in the days, you might remember back in the payphones where a metal, thing would hang down with the big giant yellow books. And I would open up the yellow pages and start calling all these companies and setting appointments. And people are like, dude, you're setting appointments in payphones? I'm like, yeah, what else are you going to do? You find a way. And so ultimately I started setting appointments. And then the next challenge was like, how am I going to get to the appointments? And so again, back on the city bus, I'm all suited and tied, sitting there waiting for, this big giant bus to come and take you wherever you need to go. You put 25, 50 cents in their little thing and off to the races you go. And it was just crazy. I was living on a boat, making calls out of payphones, taking buses to my appointments. And ultimately at the end of the city, we had dinner with Tony at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. And he said, listen, anybody that's willing to do what you just did, he said, you're a man after my own heart. He said, welcome back on to the team. Welcome back on. And it was great. They gave me all the goodies back, appointments and leads and car and apartment. Had everything set up just like the rest of our team. And it was really awesome. And then I did something that maybe some of you might have done. And that was I began to sabotage my own success. Now, maybe you haven't been guilty of that, but I know I have. And that sabotage thing just kicked in on me. And I began to not do the things that were making me to become successful. I began to not do those things. And I began to self-implode. I was literally self-destructing my own self, my own dreams, my own visions. I began to self-destruct. So the day that turned it all around, there was a day for me. It was I believe there's a day for everybody. I believe there's a moment, a time, a situation, an occurrence, something that happens that in that moment, we make a new decision. We redefine what's possible in our life. And so on December 15th, 1996, Tony was having a Christmas party at his home in La Jolla, California. Well, the office that I worked at was the corporate office in La Jolla, California. All of the rest of my team was being diverted to Tony's house for the party. I was being diverted to the office for an executive meeting. My sales manager wanted to see me. So I remember I showed up that morning. I showed up a bit late, 10 minutes late. And I remember when I got into the office, her name was Deborah, and Deborah had pink papers on the desk. Now, if you know what pink papers mean, it basically means, dude, you're fired. We like you, you're awesome, and you're fired. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not down this path again. So one of the things I recognized in that moment, I had one of two choices. I could either choose to step aside and say, this game's not for me. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Let someone else come in and fill my shoes. Clearly, they weren't that big of shoes during those days. That was one option. The other option was no way. No way. It was either step up or step aside. So I decided to step up, literally step up. I got out of my chair. I hovered over this lady's desk, Deborah, and I said, you can't fire me. I said, I'm not leaving. You'll have to call security. I'm not leaving. The first thing I recognized, she wasn't looking for a debate. She was only looking for my signature. And I wasn't going to sign anything. I wasn't going to leave anywhere. They just wanted me to quietly go peacefully out the back door and call it quits. And there was no way. And I looked and said, there's no way, there's no way, there's no way. Her eyeballs were like massive saucers. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, okay. I said, I promise you, you give me one shot, I'll break every record. I'll defy every odd. I'll do everything it takes. And so she said, okay, we're going to give you one more shot. And so I kept my job. And I started and showed up to Tony's house, and he answers the door like, what are you doing here? We're supposed to be fired. How did you get through my executive people? You must have more certainty than them, because they had the certainty that you're gone. You kept it. So that meant that you obviously had more certainty than they did. And he said, if you're able to get past my executive team, I know you can get past the average and ordinary person out on the road. And so they kept me on. I traveled the country, moved 25 times in 5 years, trained over 3,000 companies. I started to take my income from $2,000 a check to $5,000 a check to $7,000. I got to $10,000 and I thought, I wonder what is really inside of me. You know, like all of us, right? I always say there's a you inside of you haven't met yet until we fall under extreme circumstances, right? We've heard about stories of a baby or a small child, you know, being under a car and that person's able to do some miraculous thing. They didn't even know that part of them even existed until they're put under an extreme situation. So I don't know your circumstances, but I thought to myself, I used the analogy that is, you know, if you have a Ferrari, for an example, you don't know really what's under the hood of a Ferrari in your neighborhood, right? You can't take the Ferrari 200 miles an hour in the suburbs. But if you take it out to the desert and you throw it down, you can really see what's under the hood. And I wanted to see what was under my hood, my psychological hood, my belief hood. I wanted to see what's really under. So I just said, bam. And I took my income from one paycheck where I was making 10,000. I took it to over 100,000 on the very next paycheck. Freaked out Tony, freaked out accounting, freaked out the whole team. They're like, dude, you're the dude that was living on buses or taking buses and trains, and you know, the guy that started at $7.50 an hour. And I think that for me, it's just never losing hope. You know, there's something great, and I don't say it to impress anybody. I say it mostly to impress myself. You know, that if you did it once, dude, you can do it again. And so I think it's our responsibility, it's our due diligence as human beings to be able to help people bring that hope alive, to help spark that hope. Because we live in a world right now where people are losing hope. They're absolutely in such turmoil. They're in such friction. There's such chaos. There's all this news that's going on with the amount of uncertainty that's happening. And so one of the greatest things that I have recognized is the most successful people are not the most successful because they can handle the most amount of certainty in their life. And so what you and I do is we're certainty chasers. We want certainty in our marriage. We want certainty in our finances. We want certainty in our fitness. We're chasing certainty. You know, that's why when we have a whole option of different movies to watch, we watch the same one we've watched 5 times because we're certain of the outcome. We're certain of the direction and where it's going to go. As if we take a different movie, we go, I'm not sure. I've never seen it. You know, so sometimes it makes it easier if I just go towards that. But the most successful are not the most successful because they can handle the most amount of certainty. The ones that are the most certain, or the ones that are the most successful, are the ones that can handle the most amount of uncertainty. The ones that can handle the most amount of uncertainty are the ones that ultimately become the most successful. So if you're dealing with a sense of uncertainty out there, your finances, your fitness, your marriage, your health, something is something. Just the key is to keep that hope alive, knowing that in one moment, in one situation, it can all turn around. I mean, every situation, in a smack of a boom, I'm a Christian. I know that God's on my life. And God comes in and goes, bam, dude, here's a miracle. I got you covered on that one. I got you covered. And I've had so many miracles show up. So I believe for me personally, that to keep that hope alive, to know that a miracle could come in one's health and immediately remove cancer, can remove depression, can remove financial stress, can help build and mend a marriage back together. The relationship that you have with your children, it might be a disarray or it might be distant, but it can come back together in a moment as long as you don't lose that hope. So for me, in the world that we live in today, to be able to bring that sense of hope, addiction is at its highest, drug use is at its highest, alcoholism is at its highest, domestic abuse is at its highest. It's crazy times out there. So what's the one thing we can do? We can keep ourselves intact. We might not be able to keep the government intact. We might not be able to keep things that are outside of us intact. But if you keep the hope inside of your own self, for your future, for your family, and the last thing we want to do is lose hope, right? And show our kids there's no hope. I mean, if there's anything for me, and I've been through, just like everybody, tough seasons. I mean, really, really, sometimes you're like, God, is there going to be a way? But there is every single time. Every single time. As long as you stay in the game, as long as you don't lose the hope that's inside of yourself. And so it's a blessing. It's an honor to be on a call like this because I never know. Like when I walk into a room to do a speaking engagement, I never know which one I'm talking to. I never know which one needs to hear those words. I never know which one is on the verge of suicide, that when they leave that room, they're going to go pop some pills or put a gun to their head because they lost all hope. And so I get really emotional. I get very teary-eyed when I talk about that because it's so high, it's so radical. And so to be able to bring a message of any sense of hope into today's world is a great blessing, and it's a great opportunity. And you are my sister, Nadine, and you know that, and I love you. And I think it's awesome what you're putting off into the world today. And so if there's anything that I would say is to not lose the hope, to remain to whatever that is. You might have a shaky marriage. Again, your health might be shaky. You might have just got some news reports back from the doctor. But once you go down, you're down. So the key is to go down, get back up. Going down is part of life. But it's when we lose hope that we stay down. Once you're down and out, once that kicks in, you fall down and you stay down because you lost hope, you're out of the game. And if you're committed to the game for you, for your family, for your children, for being the example, the role model of possibilities, to where many people have lost the sense of possibility, to be able for them to look at you, for them to be able to look at you. I just want to be example to my children. Nadine, you know, as I mentioned, I didn't go to college or anything like that. I had no, thing of that. But in raising my three kids, my oldest son, as you know, Garrett, he's off now on his master's degree for math. He graduated high school with a 4.5. He got a $250,000 scholarship to go to school in Budapest. Like, it's amazing. My oldest son, my middle son, Grant, big 6'10" kid, graduated high school, 4.3, full ride scholarship. He takes me off. He starts playing. He played basketball for years, but it wasn't his passion, and he took up golf. And he takes me to the driving range, and he pulls me off to the side, and he goes, "Dad," I got one of your genes. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Dad, I got the gene of dreaming big." He goes, "My goal is to be on the PGA Tour by the time I'm 25 years old." I was like, "Dude, I'm good, bro." That's amazing. Like, I never wanted to show them, okay, Dad didn't go to school and Dad went through struggles. Well, I'm not going to go to school and I'm going to struggle too. I didn't want to do that. It's my responsibility to make sure the generations ahead of me are different than the generations behind me. So I'm just going to say, just as a friend to those watching, listening, whatever that is, that you got something inside of you to leave a legacy, to make a difference, to make an impact. Do it. There's people right now that need so much of you. And we can't sit around, at least in my eyes, I can't sit around crying the blues because there's a lot to cry about. And my job, as I was talking with somebody this morning, she's going through a challenging time. Amazing, beautiful woman. She's 24. Her dad hired me to coach her quite some time ago, and she's awesome. But she's going through a very tough season. And as I let her know, I'm like, listen, if it's not this set of circumstances in life, it's going to be a different set of circumstances. There's always a set of circumstances that are going on in our life. It's very rare do people go, yep, it's all good. Health is good. Marriage is good. Kids are awesome. Finances are amazing. Everything is amazing. I mean, if it's not one set of challenges, it's usually another. Being broke has one set of challenges. Being rich brings another set of challenges. But there's always challenges. It's just, how do we deal with it? How do we deal with that? I know Robert was talking about that. Great message, both from Carlos, to a dear friend, and Robert got a chance to see his message this morning. And so I just want to, if I can in any capacity, just give that encouragement to maybe the discouraged, that maybe that's what you need or looking for, and to not make it about you, but breathe some life into others. Because the moment you breathe life into them, the same way our God breathes life into us, and you breathe life into someone else, your life will never be the same. Your problems disappear when you're not focused on yourself and you're focused on others. Our problems magnify when we focus on us, but they disappear when we get focused on helping and applauding and loving all over other people. So if there's anything that I could share just to bring more of that to the world, and that's what you are doing, Nadine. So it's great to see that. Definitely.
Wow, Brett. Wow, you amaze me every time you speak. You have just such passion and wisdom and insights that you share in your stories. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here and for showing up and just being yourself. It's just everybody that's here, right? Everybody in the world has that light. You just have such beautiful light right now that shines so brightly as you're speaking your truth and stepping into fully who you are. That allows other people to do the same. And I love what you said about it's not about us, right? If this was
It's not about us. I never went to work for Tony Robbins for $7.50 an hour for the money. You know, taking buses and trains and cabs, it was never about the money. It was always about, and it has remained about for 27 years now, always about the impact.
That's right.
Always
people,
about
right?
the
It's
impact.
for the people. It's all about the people and how
it's
you
all about
impact
the
other
people.
Yeah.
I've had so many people come to me when they first take me on as a coach, and they don't tell me many times, they don't really sometimes open up until they many times move past that situation. But they come and go, dude, that day I called you, I was suicidal. Now, they don't come into the call going, dude, I'm suicidal, because I'm not a suicide hotline. So many times that might be kept to themselves until they break past that. And then they open up and go, dude, that day I called you, I was suicidal. I was going to end it all. And so it's so amazing to see. But the thing is, and I'll leave you on here again, thank you so much. But to recognize that people are living in their own private hell for many. It's not, we have a private conversation and a public conversation. And we many times don't blend the two. We show the public what we want, and then privately we have our own private conversations. Those are the things we have privately. And then we have a public conversation. We show the public what we want them to see. If we actually knew most people's private conversation with their own world, you and I would cry for just what people are dealing with in their own private world. So you can't be fooled. You can't be fooled by the nice car. You can't be fooled by the nice clothes. You can't be fooled by the smile. It's what's up underneath that that's really what's going on. Like a Robin Williams, right? Had everything going for him. Smile, laugh, everything, dealing in his own private world was his own private hell. So don't be caught off. Don't let people catch you off guard to think that, oh, it's all good. Just put a smile on their face, bring happiness, bring joy, bring love, bring all of that to the world. And I promise you, your life will brighten up. Your family's life will brighten up in every possible way.
I love that. And I love the idea of showing up, right? And almost like bridging the gap between those two parts of ourselves and being able to merge them into one and allowing ourselves to just show up and be authentic and be transparent and be vulnerable and allow those parts to be seen, because that's the part that creates massive impact and massive transformation in people's lives. And that's power when you said that there's so much to be said.
My growth for me personally always, and I'm going to use that as a kind of always grows out of my authenticity and my vulnerability. When I lose my vulnerability and I lose my authenticity, it's a different game. My growth comes from being able to go to people and go, dude, I got a problem. Dude, I'm in a bind. Dude, I got a situation. Because they want to think, oh, he's got it all together and this and that. And I don't think anyone really has it all together.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I agree, Brett. I can tell you the most revelatory insights I had with working with the clients I've worked with from around the world is listening to their stories and the people that I thought that my perception was of them that looked perfect. I would sit down and have a conversation with them, and they were the ones that were going through the most difficult stories, horrific situations. And that allowed, I encourage everybody here listening to have compassion for everybody. You just never know what they're going through. So,
yeah, you just said a perfect word in that sentence. That whole thing is compassion. Compassion. That is the main ingredient. That's why I do the work I do. I'm just compassionate for the dude or the woman that's going through a tough time, and maybe I got a set of skills. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to build a house or a fence. Like, I'm not a painter. I do what I do, and I've been doing it 27 years. But it's only because of the compassion I have for other people that are going through a tough time, that if I can give them something that maybe they didn't have coming into the game, and they can leave the game with that intact, a renewed sense of possibility, then that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's where the power lies. It's read. I just finished writing an article on this on power, like the redefinition of power in our world, and going and taking it from where it's been, which has been about control, consumption, and bringing it into more compassion and care and for humanity. And it's just as simple. Like the more we can simplify things, the easier it is for people to comprehend and actually take action upon it. Going back to actionable hope, right, in our world.
Yes.
So, Brett,
I will say this in closing. I will say that for your viewers and your watchers to pay very, very close attention to what you feed up in your head. And so for a long time, I'd watch the news, turn the news. Many times it was just, background noise. That news channel would end and I'd go to another news channel. I haven't had the news on in 3 years. Zero news. No news.
Same here, Brett. Same here. I hear you.
No news. I don't need that filled. I mean, there's so much drama and so much. And hey, I respect all the things that are going on. But I also know one thing, man, that people are depressed today because they're flicking through and they're watching and they're seeing. And, unless you can do something about it, unless you can make an impact about it, then maybe it's something that you just kind of leave to the people that are actually doing something about it. All the government, leave it to the people in government. Unless you can. I can't tell you how many people I've had to walk off the ledge. I'm like, dude, you're too deep in that, bro. You need to change the channel on your television or something. Mm-hmm. Too much controversy in the world in which we live in today. And that affects our thinking. And it allows for you and I to lose hope. There's not even hope in the government anymore. So you have to pay very, very close attention to what you're feeding your mind through music and through different podcasts that are motivating and that are inspirational and that leave you with that renewed sense of hope going into that. Stay away from the controversy, at least the best you can, because those are the things that keep you up at night, tossing and turning and tossing and turning. Forget about it.
Oh, exactly. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. I love everything you share. I enjoy your talks and your everything so much. And it's an honor to have you here today. And thank you so much for taking the time out. You're extremely busy, for taking your time out of your busy schedule to be here and share that and to save lives, right? At the end of the day, this is what we're doing, is saving, empowering, bringing hope to lives, to people, to take action, to, create a video of kindness, of something they can do today, even if it's 30 seconds, like Carlos said, 30, 60 seconds of your day. Anybody can sit down. And even if it's just yourself talking about something that somebody did that was kind to you, right? Something just to get it out there, just to share with other people right now is needed so much. So thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you, Nadine.
I'm so glad you're here, and wish you all the best.
Awesome. We love you, Nadine. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you.
All right. God bless. Yeah. Thank you, Brett.
Yep.
All right. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Brett, for that. That was incredible. Oh my gosh. It's just wisdom after wisdom and story after story and just incredible. And this is just, we're just getting started here, you guys. We're just getting started. This is our first launch, our soft launch, and, just kind of letting everybody know what we're doing, bringing people around from around the world. We've had people from many countries who've streamed in already. It's just the response has been absolutely astronomical today, and the people that are showing up and making comments and being able to be here to support us. So we thank you to each and every one of you who are here, who have been here, who will listen to this in the future. It's just a real honor and blessing to be a part of this movement as the chair and founder. And I'd like to, so I just want to go back for a moment. We have one of our youth ambassadors here. Eliza is on here. And I would like to actually bring her up just for a brief moment. To talk a little bit about her story. She's an incredible woman who she's an engineer. She's very much involved with humanitarian efforts, giving back, speaking out on truth and things that are going on in our world. And I'm just going to bring her up in a moment here, and I'd love to have her share about her story, why she felt she would like to be involved in the movement, and anything else that she wants to bring to the table today, because it's just an absolute honor to have you here, Eliza. Welcome. And I'm so glad you're here. Thank you you stuck through the whole thing, entire event. I appreciate your support, your wisdom, your words, everything that you've already contributed, and we haven't even gotten started yet. So welcome, and so excited to hear from you here today.
Hello and welcome. I am so glad to be a part of this, Nadine, and I'm so glad to have you as one of my mentors and to be on this venture with you and have really great people and great stories be shared and be listened and be voiced on a platform where we all come as a family of humans without any kind of discrimination and any kind of exclusivity in mind. We just come here, we talk about what we have gone through, and then we shed light to people who need it the most. And today we are a bunch of people, tomorrow we're going to grow more as a family, we're going to become a massive family. And I have so much hopes for this, that this is going to be the building block of many people having right now zero or minimum hope, and then tomorrow this will become a part of their lives as well, and then that will just have an incremental effect. After that, it will just go on and forth. And then we have a limited time on earth, and then if we can make this kind of an impact, I guess we are gonna do our job. We're gonna do for the things that we were sent for, and be a part of that collective family, and do our part. And nothing makes me and you happier than serving, than in serving people, and being a part of joy and the joyful stories that people will tomorrow share with other people. So you see that you just become a part of like the staircase towards a better future. And each step matters. I mean, if there's not going to be a step in the staircase, then a person might fall. So each one of us bringing our own efforts and on the page, it's just gonna have an incremental effect, and it's gonna just like hold on like a staircase towards going from a situation where we are psychologically down, and we're just not feeling that at that we just have something missing. Because let's be honest, we all don't have those friends like some of us do, and we feel really lost. But there are so many people who are missing out on that opportunity. They don't have family, they don't have friend around, and then we can just fill that emptiness that they have in their life, and just make them feel like home. And you asked about the inspiration that like one or two inspirations that we might have. Like for me, especially when I think about life, I think about the wonderful opportunity we have on this planet, and then what we can make use of it. Every time I feel personally like I get a setback of some kind, I just remind myself that like look at the babies that are coming in on this planet, and look at them. They have nothing to hold on to but everything to hold on to at the same time. I mean, they cannot do anything on their own, but they have so much of things and so much of potential that they can bring on from their own source. And like I would just like to share a couple of stories from my own family. Like my grandmother has been that kind of inspiration for me. My paternal grandmother, she has had the worst times in her life. Like she went through a lot when one of our uncles were sent on an asylum, since I come from a kind of a political background. So having those struggles is a part of our lives. And then I saw my grandmother just like recovering from that phase, just going through as a mother, and seeing your son go through that. And then she was also facing a lot of financial crisis, but then she wouldn't ever let others feel that way. Like the family that was there who was waiting for her, she was a working woman, she would never let others feel that we're going through something. She would always make sure that every person gets the food on their plate, every person gets their homework done. And and then she would be struggling for other children of hers who were going through something worse than the children present in the home. And just like I mean, she passed away last year. So, and she has given me that hope, that I know that now I have to take that forward. I mean, I've seen my dad as well, and I've seen him breaking down as well last year, this period of disease that that hit all of us. He hit us too. And my dad was just, it was a near to death experience for him and for us as well, because when one of your family members is going through something so disastrous, not just physically but also mentally, it's something that you're just on the verge of giving up, but then you don't, because you know that this is the time that your family and your the part of your family who is laying on this on the stretcher needs you the most. So I was there. I was in the hospital because my mother, she has high blood sugar levels, and she cannot be there all the time because then she gets anxiety attacks. So I have to be there certain points, and I am still there. But then I see that like if like sometimes I just sit back and I think that if what if my mom did not have me, I'm not it's not a bragging thing, so to say. It might come off with that, but I'm saying that every person should take themselves, as a responsible person, for the one who is not being able to cope up in that situation. Like, if you have your family member who is not being able, or your friend who is not being able to cope up with the situation, because we all have our different potentials, then we have to buttress, we have to support the person who is falling down. We have to become the cane for them, so I guess this is something that has affected me the most, surrounding me, surrounding my own family and my friends. And then there's another thing that has tremendously had an effect on me. When I see the other side of my family, my maternals, I see there's a lot of hopelessness, so to say, in them, because my maternal, like this is so interesting that two grandmothers, like my maternal and my paternal grandmothers, both of them have had very crisis stricken life. And they've had a massive, like they were the woman, the picture of women empowerment for me. Actually, when I look back at them, I mean, in that time and age, when women did not even know that their full potential, they actually led their families. And I saw my maternal grandmother, she had, she still has this, my aunt, her daughter, she is, she's a special child, and she is a teenager. And I mean, I know the struggles of a mother, of a parent, who go through that period of time when they have to look after not just their other children, but also children who are mentally handicapped, or I would say special, special in different ways. I see that they don't give up hope, because as a parent, you are just looking at your child, and that child is your source of hope. And imagine if that child has something that the world seems as hopelessness, then how do you convince yourself to help that child? And how do you convince yourself that nothing's going to go wrong? Then that is the moment of test. And there's something that I would want people to know, that in Japan there's a tradition called kintsugi. It is composed of two words: kin, which is gold in Japanese, and suni, which is repair. So what they do is that I mean, you might have heard of it. They just, if something breaks, suppose the vase has broken, they would just not let it go. They would pick up the parts, and then they would mend that vase, flower vase, and then they would mend it with gold, because they want to teach people to embrace the flaws, and to see that the adversities in lives are often the crevices of light. The wall that breaks often brings in the light that we were missing and that we needed. So so to just like, it's not that it just like certain people fall and the others don't. Some of the people have a better way of hiding, or a better way of coming forth after what, like you just mentioned, that you've seen people who seemed really perfect on their outer shell had the most difficult of period. And they had to go through, and then they had a lot to say. So like people have their own ways of handling things. But I would say that we should, just take ourselves as pieces of that flower vase, and put the gold in it, and then become a new person in a better way, that would also have, I mean, I would not use the word trauma, because then it would sound, very triggering for people, but like, experiences that have been, kind of negative, and then change them in ways that they can glitter like gold. So, if suppose, if I give up at the age of 15, and I know the teenage suicide rate right now. I see people in universities just giving up and just like leaving everything. I just want to say that if somebody, is listening of that age group, and if somebody is going through that, this is not the end of it. You are worth a lot more, and you are worth a lot more. Why? Not just because that you're a human being, but also because you create the value that not just you yourself need, but there are other people who share the value with you. I mean, there are so many people that you make an impact on, and the world needs you. The world needs you, and the world needs your life, and you need yourself, and you will realize it later once you get through it. And the presence of groups like grief groups, and the groups that, suppose an alcoholic person, sometimes we want people of our own kind, struggling through the same thing. So I guess this culture of having those group sessions is really helpful and insightful for those people who are unwilling to get into any kind of, any kind of debate with people who have not suffered, because I know that if I'm an alcoholic, and if I don't get a person who is as alcoholic as me, then I know that I'm going to face a different kind of mindset, and then I have to just let them know what I'm going through. So it's easier to mingle and to talk through people who have been through the same thing. So I really appreciate having group sessions, mental group sessions, and mental therapies. And at any point in our lives, we may need that. So it's really important to know that everything is in the brain, and once we know that this is something, that this part of our whole body is actually misinterpreting, or like we need to fix it. We need to go through that traditional Japanese kintsugi, and we need to fill it with the gold, and then we
Yeah.
need to identify, realize that that's not our bad luck, that's not our bad fate, and we weren't chosen, for something bad. God always puts you through the things that He knows that you will be able to come out of. And you are when the coal gets through all of that suppression, and that hard, kind of like tools, and every that bricking, that tooling that is done on the goal, it just reshapes it as a diamond. It loses its form, it becomes a better form. So I guess
Yes.
people should understand that hardships do they don't change our inner elements. The carbon component remains the same, but they do change our perspective of life. They change the outer appearance, and they will groom you in a way that you wouldn't have known if you would have not passed through that tough period of time. Because that sometimes the toughest of times teach you things that no matter how many classes you take, you wouldn't know. And it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
it's
exactly. And I love Eliza. I love that you're sharing about, the difficult times we've gone through. I always say that, that our mess turns into our message, or the greater struggles we go through is because we have a greater mission and purpose to live out here on earth. So, and your idea of the gold, and your grandmothers, both of them, and the struggles they went to, you touched on some very powerful points of breaking chains and family lineages, right? Between what our ancestors have gone through, our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, and breaking those chains and being able to step up and do something different that is better for ourselves and for all of humanity. You're just such a beautiful light, and at such a young of age to have all of the wisdom that you have, and you impart through your words and your speaking. It's just absolutely brilliant. You're just an absolute gift to this world, and everything you just shared there, I love all of it, and it's needed in our world in such a big way. So thank you so much for for being here today and for being patient
Thank you
and
so much,
working through all of this
for
and
having
just
me.
being a part of our movement as one of our youth ambassadors of hope. Yeah, you're just going to continue that. Forget who said earlier, but the best is yet to come, right? We're just getting started, and I feel like all the wisdom and everything you've learned up until this point is just getting you started to so much more that the world has to offer for you, and that you're going to be able to give back to humanity in such a large extent as you continue to grow and evolve and step into all of who you really are completely, and you already have at such a young age. So I can't wait to see what's to come for you and to see the wonderful contributions that you have for our movement and for the people that we're going to help, and we already are helping, and this is the beginning today. So thank you so much, Eliza. It's a blessing to know you. Much love. And where are you from? You're in Pakistan, right? Is that where you are right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I'm in Pakistan.
in Pakistan. So thank you so much for being here. I know the time is very late for you, and I appreciate you staying up late to share your story and be a part of this today. So,
Thank you so much, Nadine, for having me. It was such a wonderful pleasure talking to you and sharing my experience with you and listening to other people as well.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night. And yes, keep on shining, my dear. Keep on shining.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Wow. Oh my gosh. There's so much here. We're getting near the end of our program here. We have a few more things to share. But I just want to ask you all who are in the chat and who are listening, live streaming from all around the world. There's a bunch of things that, Eliza just talked about and Brett went through, and, just reflecting on all of the amazing, insights and wisdom that we've had today. I just want you to ask, yourself this question. So what do you do today to bring hope to others? What are some things that you can do to bring hope to others and, in this moment right here, right now, before you go to bed, before you lay down, your on your pillow at night? There's some things that, I wanted to share just briefly before we move on. So when you believe in people's dreams, you give them hope. You believe in their dreams, you listen to them, listening intently, becoming an active listener. No matter who it is, what they're sharing, that's something that's important to them. And to be an active listener is actually something that really it takes a skill. It's a skill to become an active listener. So, take a moment to just, we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I'm sure most people have heard that before, but it's so true. Also, helping people find their path to their dreams, like their purpose, their mission. How can we help people, rediscover what that looks like, which might be, thinking about what did you used to do as a child when you grew up? What did you really like to do? And as an adult, we kind of lose that hope and lose the joy of doing certain things that really made us happy. So thinking about what that might be and starting to do it again. For me, it was salsa dancing. I used to love dancing. I never was in a professional competition program or anything like that, but I really love dancing. And 2 or 3 years ago, I started dancing again. And then with COVID, I hadn't been able to do it as much. And this week will be our first week going back. So for me, it's a very hopeful week that I'm going to get to start dancing again, because as a child, that was something I used to do quite often that really brought me joy. So what can you do today to help bring somebody find their path, help them find their purpose? And I wrote a book about how I find my purpose, being a geologist and going through my transition of where I am today, called Uncover Your Purpose, Heal and Share Your Gifts with the World. And it was, I never thought I'd write a book. I never thought I'd be speaking, never thought I would be here today. But, trust that process, and you're exactly where you're meant to be, no matter where you are on your journey. A couple more things here that we can do to show hope is, express your love and affection. Tell somebody that you care for them, reach out to them, that you appreciate them. The simple act of kindness, right? Just being kind and treating our neighbors as if, how we want to be treated. Helping others find their strengths. So when we focus on our strengths, we become stronger. When we focus on our weaknesses, we become weaker. So take a moment to celebrate your strengths. Look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a high five. Give yourself a thumbs up, saying like, way to go, good job, keep going, you're doing amazing. Appreciate what is good in others, and also what is good in yourself. Encouraging to others, and a simple act of saying, you can do this, you got this, is a very powerful statement that takes less than 2 seconds to say. So those are some things that I highly recommend in my own life and what I've learned throughout the years in sharing with bringing hope into our world. So we're going to bring up, we actually have one of our ambassadors here all the way from the UK, the United Kingdom. We're going to bring him on next to share a little bit about, hope and how he brings hope in our world. And he is just such a unique individual, so incredible leader. He is the owner and the founder and CEO of organization in the UK, and also runs, get this, ladies and gentlemen, over 200 WhatsApp groups that he manages and facilitates, and brings just so much hope to hundreds and thousands of people every single day in these groups that he's involved with, and in networking and bringing people together. He's one of the most influential networkers, connectors, human beings that I've ever met in my entire life. And I've met just some amazing people through his group and through the connections that he's recommended. So it is an absolute honor today to bring up Mark Jarrett and have him speak on hope today. So welcome, Mark. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for being patient through this whole entire broadcast. We're so happy you're here and just cannot wait to hear your message of hope here today.
Hope is dope, Nadine.
Hope is dope. I love it.
Put the TM next to it. So, hi everyone, my name's Mark. I'm a professional networker, and I'm going to read out to you an article that I've written as being part of the this wonderful movement that Nadine has created. It's called How Hope Saved My Life. I'm so glad my mother and father met, for without them, I would not have come into existence. They made me, and I'm so glad they did. But there have been times where I wish they hadn't. And the line, I sometimes wish I hadn't been born at all, from Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, really resonated. The seeds of my mental melancholy were sown when, aged 7, my parents split up. Between them, it was decided I should live with my mother. But it soon became evident that she loved alcohol more than she loved me. And I spent most of my formative years acting in loco parentis to this Jekyll and Hyde individual. Sober, she was a delight to be with. But whilst intoxicated, she morphed into a monster. Which is why I spent my teenage years hoping that she would not drink. But she did, often. This caused me much pain, but I soon discovered my own bad habits which helped me mask it. Gambling was one of them. For when I was playing slot machines, which are known as fruit machines in the UK or pokies in Australia, the world outside didn't matter. I felt safe in my zone of escapism. Pornography was another. Both of these addictions gave me the dopamine I craved to escape reality. Of course, hope effectively powers gambling, the hope of hitting the jackpot, which I did, often. But all it bought me was more time to engage in this utterly self-destructive habit, which has cost me around £250,000. My chaotic relationship with money continued throughout my adult life. But one thing my stint as a futures broker at London's World Trade Centre taught me was that money does not make one happy. I met plenty of people who had money in abundance, but were utterly paranoid and miserable individuals. Having experienced what it's like to have money and not to have it, I was motivated to write an article called Money Does Not Make You Happy, but it's impossible to be happy without it. In it, I conclude that the best thing about having money is that it affords us the opportunity not to have to worry about it. About 25 years ago, I concluded that I was unemployable and decided to employ myself. Besides, I've never been particularly good at being told what to do. However, it's famine or feast being self-employed. The bad news is there is no safety net in the form of a monthly paycheck. The good news is that the sky's the limit as far as income potential is concerned. And the freedom to take a day off work whenever you want is priceless, in my opinion. Then, a few years ago, I had a famine year and I found myself impetuous. Whilst this is stressful in and of itself, perhaps even more stressful is the fact that I did not think I was really good at much. When I was employed in what seems like an epoch ago, I was not much good at executing the tasks that I was being paid for. I experienced a crisis of confidence and I was not sure exactly who I was. But it was the inability to pay the rent and the bills which caused the most stress. One man takes his life every 2 hours in the United Kingdom. I almost became one of them. For us men are hardwired to provide for our families. When we can't, it makes us feel sad. So sad that we feel that the world would be better off without us. What prevent ideation becoming reality was hope. So in my book, Hope is Dope. It has saved my life. Hope is an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation that positive outcomes with respect to events and circumstances will change in one's life or the world at large. One of the positives occasioned by the novel coronavirus COVID-19 is that it is a shared experience. The word pandemic is derived from the Greek pandemios, which means of or belonging to the people. We are all in this together. As we emerge from it, hope is the invisible glue that binds us all together. Hope that life gets back to normal. The hope for a better future. Like laughter, hope is the great equalizer. Young or old, black or white, rich or poor, we all hope. An Italian proverb states that hope is the last thing ever lost. Hope is the one thing that can get us through the darkest of times. Fast forward to now, and I find myself in a much better place. This is partly thanks to my long-suffering wife, Dorrit, who has pointed out to me that I should focus on what I am good at, and that is connecting people. During my lifetime, I have accumulated a large global network of extraordinary individuals doing great things. We are all familiar with the expression, your network is your net worth. I would take issue with that. If that was true, I'd be a millionaire. However, I remain hopeful that one day it will ring true and I can call myself one. In the meantime, it has been wonderful witnessing virtual morph into reality as people who have met one another in the 222 WhatsApp group ecosystem I have created meet each other in person for the first time. I have been extolling the virtues of virtual networking long before the pandemic, not least because it saves so much time, money, and carbon. We are all hardwired to grow our tribes by engaging in this ubiquitous socio-economic activity. At the end of the day, business boils down to people and trust. By creating an environment where people feel safe to engage with one another, good things happen. Friendships are being forged. And ultimately, that's what life is all about, relationships. Relationships with our family, our friends, and fellow human beings in general. Knowing that I am helping create them gives me hope. Amen.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Mark, that was so powerful in all of what you just shared there. Thank you so much for that. That was just, I don't even have words to describe what you just said there because there's so much packed in what you shared, the truth and
does it give you hope?
To give you hope. Yeah. It's the
Good.
glue that binds us together. That's the one thing that pops back right now. That's powerful. The glue that binds us together. Isn't that just take a moment, everybody, just to let that sink in. Hope is the glue. And I'm going to add one word to that: actionable hope is the glue that binds us together, because we can hope all day long. It's that action, that's that glue that creates change, and massive change in a world of uncertainty and hopelessness, because that's all hope is. And I had a conversation with a psychologist a few days ago, and we were talking about what is hope, right? What is really hope? And as we had this discussion, it came up that hope is basically a learned helplessness. When we learn things through conditioning as children, it creates this sense of hopelessness through false hope. The way that the society tells you things, you do this, you're going to get this, and then you do that, and then you don't get that, right? That creates this sense of learned helplessness, that, we can sometimes do things and sometimes we don't get the results that we want or what we were expecting. But when we take actionable hope, when we have the actions that are in alignment with our morals and our values and who we truly are, which I call our personal mission statement, that's when we create this sense of hope that is long lasting, that will last for many generations. And as Eliza was saying too, many generations. She mentioned her grandmothers, right, and the difficulties that they went through. So how can we show up by taking hope and taking action to help even break those old patterns and ways of being that no longer serve us or our family or our lineage or for our children, right, and the next generation to come? It's change makers through changing the multi-generational patterning that gets passed down. And it's the way that you network and bring people together, Mark, is I just have such a deep respect for you and all you do, and the amazing, wonderful, incredible people and beautiful friendships that I've formed from the groups that you're in the introduction. So I just thank you for being you, for being here, for sharing your story, for being one of our ambassadors of hope, and focusing on and sharing your story of gambling, because this is very real for many people, and a lot of people don't speak about the things that really need to be told about this truth. So it takes a lot of tremendous courage to stand up and be ourselves and be authentic. But what lies on the other side for people, and even if there's one person listening to this today that it's one part of our stories resonate with, it's all worth it. It's worth showing up, it's worth sharing, it's worth taking that courage forward to make that change and make that lasting change. So I thank you for who you are. What's one last word of advice you would leave for people? If you could say one last thing for people who are struggling, what would that be?
Well, as you know, I'm a networking enthusiast. I would say networking is like opening a bank account. You cannot make a withdrawal until you make a deposit. So it's all about serving others and helping people.
I love that. Thank you. That's the perfect way to end. I think that's exactly it, right? Serving others brings hope to ourselves, brings hope to others, and that's a win-win. And that's what we need more of collaborative win-win relationships, acquaintances, partnerships in our world, period. So thank you for ending on that note. You're a blessing, my brother. Thank you so much. Much love to you always. And I just can't wait to see all that's to come. So thank you so much again for being here today.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. We're getting near the end, you guys. Everybody, we have a couple more things to share, and then we are going to sign off. So I just wanted to talk briefly a little bit. If you have a story to share and you're wanting to get it out on social media for other people to hear, to help inspire, to change lives, there's a link on our website. If you just go back to our website, theglobalmovementofhope.com, and go to the bottom of the first page. There's a few links that are on there, and you can just submit your story electronically, your interest, and we can set up a call if you're interested in being published as an international best-selling author, would like to be featured in our next book. We do have some spots for that. We're just starting a series anthology of hope, similar to the Chicken Soup for the Soul, where we're looking for stories of various different themes of hope, from cancer to leadership to everything that's out there, people that have overcome difficulties in the world. So we'd love to have you and be a part of anything that we're doing. Again, share your stories, share your quotes, share anything that happened to you, anything you can go and do, share your videos. There's also a link on there to share your 30 to 60 second video of something good you did today. Again, going back to the United Hope Challenge, make sure to post your video on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, anywhere you can, just to get hope out. We need to spread this light as much as we can as possible in our world right now. So thank you so much, everybody. And so I want to say, we're talking about stories. I was doing some research on some interesting stories around the world that I had never heard before. I was going to share a few of them with you today because they're just, to me, just blew me away. So, and they're kind of silly stories, but I think sometimes we forget to be silly and laugh and have fun in life. So I think this is just a reminder for everybody that's here and around the world to sometimes not take ourselves so seriously and have fun, and allow the lighter things in life to take over. So I'm going to share a few things with you. You might find them fascinating. You might know them already, but regardless, just wanted to share them with you because I think it's important to share these things with one another and in this community that we have with one another. So I found out as I was doing research that pillow fighting is actually something that was a recognized sport in Canada that was founded in Toronto in 2004 by something called the Pillow Fighting League. And again, had no idea that even existed. Another story of hope I came across was in Sweden. So when people go and give blood and they're blood donors, they actually receive a text whenever the blood is used to help somebody. And I thought, what a great idea, right? To know you're doing good, you go and donate blood, but to know that your blood that you're donating is being used is just a whole new level. And that's what we're doing with this hope movement, right? Trying to create stories of hope to really allow people to step into that new zone of being. So another one I came across was cows. The animal cows actually have best friends. Didn't know that before. I thought that was kind of an interesting subject. I don't know how old people are that were watching this, but there was a show when I was growing up called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I watched that show every day. And there was something about Mr. Rogers that he just had this sense of calm and peace and hope to him. And I found this fact. And if you know Mr. Rogers, he wore a cardigan sweater on every episode. And this is a children's show where he did crafts. And you kind of, those of you who aren't familiar with Mr. Rogers, would do certain things every day and then he had puppets, right? They had puppet shows. But one of the things that I found out that his cardigans, his sweaters that he wore on all of his shows were actually hand knitted by his mother. And he had kept them all these years and wore them on his shows as a hope and to remember his mother and the good memories that he had with her. And this is another one too, is like to talk about rats. So rats play hide and seek, just as people do, and they actually get excited and they start squealing and make these different sounds when they're found. So they have emotions just like people do. So just take a moment right now, think of all the worst days of your life. You've made it through every single one of them and are still going strong. There's always another day on the other side. So remember, today is today. Whatever you're going through, you got this, right? We went through this before. You got this, you got this, you got this, and you will get through. You will press on. Take that one step forward. Like I said, that actionable hope. What's the one thing that you can do to continue to move forward? And you wake up tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is a new day. You wake up, tomorrow is a fresh start, a new day to start things all over again and make things different and do the best that you can and know that you're loved, know that you're cherished, know that you're valued, know that you're seen, that you're heard, and know that you are now a part of our community and our family of the global movement of hope. And we truly care about each and every one of you who are here and want what's best for you and to be able to support you in any way we can. So reach out to us at any time if anything you'd like to share as far as that goes. So as we close today, and we have one last special guest, and we saved the best for last, is a gentleman that I have known for many years, and he has been somebody I think I've known since, I believe, elementary school, maybe grade 3, grade 4, very, very long time. And him and I were on a phone call a couple weeks ago. And he said, Nadine, I have something I'd like to share with you. And he shared something. He read this poem to me. And I'd never been so touched. Like, I was very touched. It says Faye earlier on, if those of you were here at the beginning of our global movement launch today. shared her poems that she had written on hope and on her mind and on the cardinals that she saw. And you have to go back and you can listen to it over and over. This poem touched my heart, and I asked John Thauberger if he would share this, and otherwise AKA known as Burger, we call him Burger, but I just had to ask him to come on and share this because he's an incredibly heartfelt individual who is doing amazing things in this world, and just has, ever since I've known him, has just had this tremendous open heart for everybody he meets, and just shows up so authentically and transparent with everything he does, so vulnerable in the way that he is in this world. And it's just a true honor to know him and to have him as somebody that I've known for so long and that I'm still in context and friends with. So as I bring John to the stage, I just want to welcome you today, Mr. John Thauberger. It is great to have you here. Thank you so much for your entire patience of being here the entire time, to wait to the very end to share this amazing, I promise everybody it is worth the wait. So welcome today. Thank you for being here. If you want to share any words of wisdom before you read the poem, the stage is all yours.
Well, thank you, Nadine. The poem, it's about hope and inspiration, and it's written by my favorite poet. He's a Canadian poet and songwriter, Shane Poisan, and it's absolutely amazing. And I would like to share it with you now. This is my voice. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And it's a fine line when you try and define the finer points in politics. Politics being a Latin word, poly meaning many, ticks meaning blood-sucking butt lumps. You see, too many live in countries where it's bullets instead of ballots, where gavels fall like mallets when held in the hands of those whose judgments can be bought as easily as children can be taught to covet. And the only ones willing to speak up are forced to live so far beneath the radar that the underground is considered above it. This is for the Ho Chi Minhs and the Michael Collins, the Marquis de Sades and the muted gods. This is my voice. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And this time it's for the sons and daughters who watch mothers and fathers drown in shallow waters while panning for the American dream in a polluted creek called Mainstream. This is for the homeless people sleeping on steam vents, making makeshift tents out of cardboard and old trash, trying to catch 40 winks in between the crash of car wrecks, risking their necks by surviving another day so they can starve, so that famine can carve their body into a corpse before their heart stops beating, so that men at a boardroom meeting can make it harder for them to get welfare, health care. It's no wonder some of them pawn off their own wheelchair. And every time I walk them by, I can't help but feel at fault that maybe I didn't search myself hard enough for the Control-Alt-S so I could save the world, or at least this little girl curled up into a ball. I've spent most of my life throwing compassion back like a fish that's too small. Got to cash in my reality checks, drop her some spare fantasies, because I've got 3 separate degrees from different universities, but the most valuable thing I ever learned was to believe people when they say please. This is my voice. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And don't tell me there are no heroes. This is for them, the women and the men, for Helen Keller, who against all odds found the voice for the choice Veronica Guerin made, for Martin Luther King, who stayed just long enough to share a dream with us. This is for that day on the bus with Sister Rosa Parks. This is for the Joan of Arcs, who believe even in the face of sparks becoming flames. This is for the political game that Louis Riel refused to play. This is for the day the Dalai Lama finally goes home. For Dr. Jeffrey Wigand, who alone stared down big tobacco. For Nelson Mandela, who continued to go the extra mile. This is for the trial that finally found a man guilty of shooting Medgar Evers dead. This is for everything Malcolm X said, remembered by athletes who left the Olympics double-fisted. For Arthur Miller blacklisted for calling a witch hunt what it was. For Galileo locked up because he said the earth was round. For the 2 Live crew who found the sound that got them banned in the USA. And imagine if we could still hear John Lennon play This is for the someone who stood up today and said no. For Edward R. Murrow, who shut down McCarthy. This is for Salman Rushdie, Mahatma Gandhi, you, me, this city, this country. We will always have a choice. When you stand up to be counted, tell the world, this is my voice. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Thank you.
Boom, boom, boom. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. What a beautiful poem. And just so much. The thing I loved about that poem when you first shared it with me was just the truth that's in it, right? There's just so much heart and truth that went in writing that poem. And when you read it, I could just feel, your heart, and as if you were the person who wrote the poem that's now coming through. And it's coming alive through your voice and through. And this is why this is so important for me, because the global movement is about truth. It's about hope. It's about speaking with our voice, right? And shining as bright as we can out into the world to make that difference, to inspire people to also do the same, to show up in their life.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. You're appreciated. You're loved. You're valued. And you are a blessing to this world. Never forget that.
Love you too. Thank you, Nadine.
Love you. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for being here. So as we could conclude today, that was the perfect way to end. Not a perfect day, but a day that needed to happen. We had some bumps and bumps and bruises at the beginning, getting started. But you know what, you guys, that's life, right? Life isn't always perfect. It's about how we still keep going forward, how we don't give up, and how we don't let anything stop us from living our dreams, speaking our truth, being who we're meant to be here in this world, to make a difference in the lives of many or few, even if it's just one person's life that you can impact today. Be that light, be the hope, take actionable hope forward. Share your story, encouraging you to go share your story, whether it's your story, whether it's something you go out and do at the gas station, whether it's, dropping a box of something off at somebody's house, calling somebody, texting somebody, doesn't matter, right? Just taking that action and moving forward. It's about the United Hope Challenge. And the reason we chose that name is all about unity in our world and uniting our world through hope and challenging ourselves to be the best version of ourselves we can be. So United Hope Challenge reflects all three of those. It's not only about ourselves, it's not only about others, but it's about how can we unite together as one. Because when we unite together as one, we are stronger. We have a voice that is heard. Our light shines brightly in the world. Back in October of last year, I was guided to purchase a star through the star naming registry. And in meditation, I was given the name Unity. Unity HHPL117 was a specific name that I was given. And it sounds like something like Richard Branson or some leader is who's taking a mission to space, has named their aircraft or space shuttle off of. I just want to briefly, as we end today, talk to you about that name and what it represents in our world right now. Back in October 27th, and in particular, was the day this was registered. There's a lot of darkness in our world, especially at that time that was going on. A lot of uncertainty that was happening. That still is. And the way that we look at life is the way that we perceive. The way we do one thing. You might have heard the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I actually don't agree with that. I think the way that we do everything is the way, and one thing we might be really good at, it might be our strength. That might be something that we want to focus more on, is doing, one thing versus doing everything really well. Like I mentioned, one of the quotes we went through, focus on your strengths and your strengths will become stronger. Focus on your weaknesses and your weaknesses will become highlighted. We want to focus on our strengths. the things we're good at, telling yourself and believing in yourself that you can do it, you will do it. It's already done. It's already done. I encourage you guys, the dreams that you have inside of you, we have greatness. Each and every one of you has that greatness inside of you and has the dreams that can turn from dreams to a reality. I want to tell you today, this event today, launching the global movement of hope, I was given this day, February 22nd, 2022, months ago, that this was our day that we needed to launch this global movement and soft launch it into the world, letting people know about this. I can tell you it started as a dream. And you all know the whole Martin Luther King's famous speech on we have a dream, how that goes. But this also became a dream, started as a dream, and today was made into reality by being able to have the opportunity to share with all of you. I want you to, every time you look at this, anytime you see a post, you see somebody sharing a story that's involved with our movement or anything in general, I just want you to know that anything is possible. Anything is possible when you believe. Our imagination is the root of action that leads to reality, that leads to unity, that leads to change and transformation in our world. So the HHPL, the Unity HHPL 117 star, the 4 components of unity, in my eyes, are happiness, which is joy, which is everlasting, which is H is the second one, which is hope, which is what we're talking about today. The L is love, unconditional love in particular, where there's no conditions, where you're loved simply because you exist, simply because you are here, simply because you were born. You were one out of 400 million chances of being born. And it was you that was chosen to be here at this particular moment in time, in this particular time of history, with everything we are going through in our world. You are here for a reason. You are here for a purpose. And you will move forward one step at a time. You got this. So the HHPL 117, I will share on our page the registration link. And what I want it to do is to unite us all in hope. Anytime you look up into the sky and you see the stars, you see our galaxy, you can put the registration number of the star in this app you can download on your phone. And at any given time, any one of us can look up and see the same star and know that we are all one. And that star is a binary star, which is 2 stars that shine brightly. And together on Earth, when you look up and you see that star, it appears to be shining as one, which is how each and every one of us here today and in this world have this beautiful, brilliant light inside of us that is meant to be shone brightly. Because together we will become one, and the light will overtake the dark, because the dark cannot exist in the light. I'm going to leave it here. So as we close today, I just want to send my gratitude, my love, send peace to our world and prayers for unity amongst all people. I pray for Actionable Hope. I pray for stories of goodness to wash upon the nations in our world, to open the floodgates of abundance and wealth in all areas, to provide for those who are in need, to send comfort to those who are alone, and to be with those, to give them the voice and to allow them to be that voice in the world right now, where our voices are trying to be stifled in our truth. So speak truth. Go to theglobalmovementofhope.com, share your story, be that hope, be that light, because we need you. We need your story. We all need your story. There's parts of your story that only you can help. There's people out here in the world that only you can help. And we encourage you to submit your story, send your story, share this broadcast with everybody you know. Be a part of this United Hope Challenge and the global movement of hope, and spreading this hope right now during this time in history. Go and share your story. Make sure to include the hashtag United Hope Challenge. You can find us on Instagram, the Global Movement of Hope. We're also on Facebook, the Global Movement of Hope. Our event page is on there. You can share. Again, we want to encourage everybody. It's about the people, sharing as much as you can. Sharing. If you see a story that inspires you, we're going to start sharing stories very soon. If you want to be an ambassador of hope in our organization, send us a message. We're looking for ambassadors in every country of the world. We want to impact billions of people through this and allow this United Hope Challenge to go viral to billions of people with this light. Join us on Twitter, and we're also in the process of setting up TikTok and a bunch of other social media platforms as well. And we also have a YouTube channel that's called the Global Movement of Hope, where every story that is submitted will be broadcast onto our Facebook page and then onto other platforms. And we also are having a challenge where we will have awards for the most inspiring video, the most liked video, most shared video, most generous, kind, most crazy, outrageous video that's out there, most funny. We're gonna have a whole bunch of different awards that we will be giving out to people. And then the award for the most liked video, we actually have an iPad, a grand prize of an iPad that we'll be giving away, and possibly a MacBook as well. So we want to really encourage you. We'll be sharing our top videos on our website, again, theglobalmovementofhope.com. So the top 10 videos shared will be on our website, and you also have the opportunity to be gifted a chapter in one of our international best-selling author books that we are in the process right now of setting up. So we encourage you, share your stories, show your love, show up, and be yourself. We thank you so much for everything, for being here, for sticking with us to the very end. We want to encourage you again to continue to step into all of who you are, be yourself, and most of all, continue to spread love and hope and joy and peace. The greatest of these all is love and hope for a great tomorrow. Take actionable hope, move forward. Again, this is for everybody. There's no person that will be left behind. If you want to share a blog, you want to share a quote, you want to share anything of value, all is welcome here, and you are welcome. So thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to all our sponsors, to the Canadian Mental Health Association, to the Me to We movement, to also Aspiration Marketing, to all of our other partners that we have, ambassadors, directors, advisors from, again, across the world. We appreciate you, each and every one of you, more than you know. And it's my heartfelt thanks to sign off here for today. We will be having these broadcasts, so if you're wanting to be brought on to our next broadcast, we will be doing these once a month, the first Wednesday of every month. At around this time. So we will be, stay tuned for more stories, more great things to come. We will be announcing the winners of our challenge over one of our next live broadcasts. And we look forward to, allowing you guys to share your stories of hope. So thank you so much. As the chair and founder of the Lead Timbeck Summit, you all mean so much to me. And I'm sending each and every one of you much love and prayers and blessings and healing for just an amazing road ahead, and remembering you're not alone, and I believe in you. Thank you.